are plenty. I love it. Love the fact that you guys have joined us. A very good morning. My name is Graham Richards.
I'm Carl Wasty. It's lovely to have you along for the ride today. And you know what? They say Wednesday is the day we get over Wednesday, we slide into the weekend, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. We've got so many things for you today. We've packed it all into one show. We could have had a 5-hour show with the amount of things that we have for you today. It's crazy.
Completely. I mean, that's why we talk as fast as we possibly can, because we have to try and kind of condense everything. So, Laan celebrating a massive milestone. Our little Zoe hopped on a plane, braved the great outdoors, and has flown all the way to Joburg to help celebrate this unbelievable milestone. It's probably one of the most beloved soapies in the country, undoubtedly, with some of the most beloved characters. She's going to be on set introducing us to some of those favorites this morning and having a good time, man. It's
going to be good. I mean, we're talking about wardrobe and makeup and all sorts of things, and Zoe's going to get into an acting class, which is going to be amazing.
Do you think she's got the chops for it?
I think she does. She told me that she wanted to do some acting this year, so I think that's going to be the most incredible thing to see this year. 2021 could be the year that you see Zoe.
You almost said 20...
I was going to say 2023. I wanted to jump forward very, very quickly. That's what I wanted to do. But it's going to be great. Also,
she's going to do the look.
Yes, and also that sort of that hold stare.
The who farted look, they call it.
Oh my gosh!
It is.
Isn't that? And they just kind of leave it there. You see, that's how beautiful it is. Another thing that we have for you is Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ting, ting, ting!
So if you've got any culinary questions, 021 110 552. If you want to throw that in later, we'd love to answer those for you.
Yeah, man, we'd love to kind of reach out to you on the phone, and also you can hit us up on our Expresso Morning Show Facebook page with any of your culinary conundrums. We've got an amazing team here. Let's see if we can stump them this morning. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm going to let you get prepped now. Okay, to engage with all of you on our social medias as I get prepped for the news ahead. I'll see you in a sec.
All right, cool. So hashtag Expresso Show, that's the hashtag to use today. And as mentioned, Zoe's going to be doing an experiential on the set of Laan. You'll see that a little later. But the question is today, who is your favorite Laan character? If you've got one that you are fanatical about, I want to hear about it. And also, don't forget the why. That's actually the most important part, especially if you've been watching it and supporting the show for all that time. So over to News Up Your Laan. Here's Graham with the details.
Thanks so much. Let's kick it off here in South Africa, where the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, yesterday said there are concerns around the unregulated use of ATMs, which, due to the constant physical contact with the machine's keypad and limited social distancing for those waiting in line, could become super spreaders of COVID-19 in their own right. She said the regulation now is that every bank or financial institution that has an ATM must ensure that there are sanitizers at the facility. It's estimated that 30,000 ATMs will need to be equipped to comply with the new Alert Level 3 regulations. Staying in South Africa, the Gauteng Department of Agriculture has warned residents to be on the lookout for a hippopotamus roaming the Fourways area in northern Santa near the Yixkay River. It was first sighted on the 29th of December. You might have seen it popping up on social media. The department said that to date it had not caused damage nor posed a threat to any humans or animals' lives at this stage. It's believed to be from the Hartbeespoort Dam and is left in peace. If left in peace, will return voluntarily to the same area. Members of the public should not approach or feed the hippo, as it can become very aggressive. On the international front, Uganda's communications regulator has ordered the shutdown of social media and messaging applications that ahead of a highly charged election tomorrow. The vote will come after one of the bloodiest campaigns in years, as veteran leader Yoweri Museveni seeks a 6th term against pop star turned MP Bobi Wine, who has managed to fire up a youthful population that has mostly known only one president. Despite the 38-year-old's popularity, few observers believe he can pull off a victory against Museveni, a 76-year-old former rebel leader who has ruled since 1986. Then a couple in Quebec, in Canada, have been fined for breaking COVID curfew rules after the woman was caught walking her husband on a leash. Now, walking a dog close to home is one of the only acceptable reasons to be outside during curfew. The woman reportedly told police that she was just out walking her dog and that they were merely following the rule for pets. But the police would hear nothing of this, and they were each fined some 18,500 rand. And now, picking up on a story we've already touched on this morning, news of a South African soapie that stood the test of time. Generations have grown up with it. It's been eagerly watched by hundreds of thousands over more than 2 decades, and it's in its 22nd season. SABC2's flagship program, Sewende Laan, broadcasts its milestone 5,000th episode recently. The significant episode was recorded on the 26th of October last year during Sewende Laan's 20th year on air. Directed by Francois Lensley, who has also played the role of Marco Greiling in Sewende Laan for the past 18 years. This very special episode coincided with the revamp of an iconic set, Oppie Coffee, in the soapie. Viewers were also treated to a special song sung by Hildegard Whites and Kiabetse, KB Molotsane, known as Bonita Menkes and Lesedi Molloy on Sewende Laan, respectively. And the sentimental song titled Die Sewende Laan Song, written by Joe Niemand, embodies the soul of the soapie. And to further celebrate this milestone, SABC2's longest-running current affairs show, Focus, visited the set and conducted interviews with the cast and crew, which will exclusively be broadcast on Focus this evening at 7 p.m. So make sure that you watch Focus on SABC2 at 7 tonight for a report on the unbelievable milestone of 5,000 episodes. That's where we leave our news for now. Let's get into our sporting headlines. Yesterday, SA Rugby announced the kick-off times for the Currie Cup semi-finals scheduled to take place on Saturday, the 23rd of January. The first match will see the table-topping Bulls face the Lions at 2 p.m. at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Then Western Province and the Sharks will go head-to-head in that second semi-final, kick-starting at 4:30 p.m. at Newlands in Cape Town. The Currie Cup final will then take place just a week later on Saturday, the 30th of January. Plenty of football to take in last night. English Premier League football returned last night with victories from Manchester United, Everton, and finally one for Sheffield United. Paul Pogba's right-footed shot in the 71st minute was enough to record a 1-0 win for the Red Devils over Burnley. Manchester United now sit at the top of the Premier League standings, 3 points ahead of the defending champions Liverpool. In other results, the second-half penalty by Billy Sharp secured a long-awaited first Premier League victory for Sheffield United this season. Sheffield beat Newcastle United 1-0, and then Everton went on to beat Wolves 2-1. Turning to four wheels, Bahrain is set to host a Formula One season opener as it was announced that the Australian Grand Prix has moved from March to November this year. Other changes to the revised Formula One calendar sees the return of Italy's Imola circuit. The Chinese Grand Prix was postponed due to ongoing travel restrictions brought on by COVID-19, of course. And then finally, on to wrestling. Man, we hope this one is true. Will the Rugby World Cup winning Springbok Tendai Beastem Twararira be joining WWE? The 35-year-old former Bok Loosehead prop expressed his interest in joining WWE during a live video chat with WWE superstar Kofi Kingston this week. Beast, who currently plays for US Major League Rugby side Old Glory DC, mentioned that he has always been a fan of the franchise and looks up to the legends in the sport like The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Please, Lord, let this come to reality. That's where we leave our sporting headlines for now. Let's take another look at some of your beautiful sunrise pictures this morning.
Thanks a lot, Graham. We asked you to send us your sunrise pictures, and I love these, so we can see how you wake up in your part of the country. And our regular photographer, Alan Radnicki, posted a gorgeously lit harbour in Cape Town. The mother city can expect a warm and sunny day, reaching a max of 30 degrees today. Kanani Shibiti has posted this great photo onto our pages. Thank you so much for that. You too can contribute to our weather report by posting a sunrise photo on Expresso's Facebook page. And now some news for you. The COVID-19 pandemic has almost the entire world in some form of lockdown. Thus, we've been most excited to learn that one of the world's greatest natural spectacles, the Aurora borealis, also known as the Northern Lights, can soon be admired virtually in real time. This happens at specific times of the year when conditions are just right. And the Delta College Planetarium in Bay City, Michigan, USA, estimates that 22 January 2021 will present the perfect conditions for a sighting, and a live streaming is planned. Planetarium manager Mike Murray will deliver a presentation exploring what causes the phenomenon and how to observe. The event is free for all to attend and can be watched via the Delta College Planetarium's Facebook page. And for South Africans, the presentation and live stream will be a little early, but it's good, 4 a.m. on 22 January. On to some of your temperatures across the country. Polokwane, you are a low of 18 to a high of 29 today, around a 4% chance of precipitation in your area. Bombela, 19 to 29 for you, 50% chance of rain in your spot. Pretoria, 17 to 28. Joburg, Goeiemorgen, 15 to 27 for you. Thunder showers, as always at this time of the year, 42% chance there. Mahikeng, 19 to 29. Klerksdorp, you are a low of 19 this morning to a high of 28, 47% chance of thunder showers in your area. Kimberley, 21 is the low, believe it or not, to a high of 30. Bloemfontein, 17 to 27. You got Richards Bay, that is a low of 21 to a high of 32. Pietermaritzburg, you are 18 this morning to a high of 30 a little later. Durban, 23 to 30 for you. Mthatha, you're a low of 19 to a high of 28. East London, 21 to 25 today. Cradock, 40% thunder showers in your area, 19 to 32. Port Elizabeth, good morning to you. 21 your low to a high of 24. George, 19 to 23 today. Cape Town, as mentioned, a high of 30 from a low of 20 this morning. Worcester, it is 20 to a staggering high of 34. Please hydrate and get the sunscreen on. Sutherland, 16 to 30. Uppington, you are 24 this morning. That is your low to a high of 34. Thanks a lot for all those sunrise pictures. Those are the temperatures in your area. Please continue sending those. Get into our Facebook page as soon as possible and go send yours. I'd love to see them.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to connect. Really good. I'm quite hungry, so I'm going to enjoy getting into that in just a moment.
You know, I'm always hungry.
If I had to ask you, what do you think the word of last year would have been?
Sure. Pivot.
Pivot. Okay.
Agile.
Agile.
Unprecedented.
I was going to say that has to be it.
Yeah?
Unprecedented, surely,
Yeah.
because it was an unprecedented
Yeah.
year. So we're going to get into the Oxford Languages words of an unprecedented year of 2020. What do the words that prevailed last year tell us about the crazy world that we've had to endure?
Yeah.
We will find out with a discussion after the break. But right now, I'm going to kind of charge myself up for the day.
What word stood out for you that's become your favorite now?
Tired, man, tired. No, unprecedented has to be the word for 2020, undoubtedly. Oh, man.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso here on SABC3. Welcome, welcome. If you just tuned in, I know that you may have seen a lot of words pop up, and words like lockdown and video call, and those things have really been littering all over the place. But I think it's important to get some insight. And if we got 1 rand for every time we heard one of those words, like, I mean, Tabiso, you mentioned unprecedented not too long ago.
Well,
to Graham, which is actually one of the biggest things. Every email you get is like, "Hi, Carl. I hope you're well during these unprecedented times." It's happened a lot, eh?
It's become an excuse for service providers who are slacking as well. As you know, we're now existing in unprecedented times, which may cause delays in the delivery of your book.
It's become an excuse in a way, but you know, Oxford Languages annual Word of the Year analysis for 2020 has thus become words of an unprecedented. There it is again. Here.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I love it. Lead publisher of dictionaries and dictionary data. This is of the Oxford University Press, Southern Africa, Dr. Philip Lowe, to learn more about the interesting interesting insights that the increased or renewed usage of these words has to offer, which is wonderful. So, Dr. Philip, welcome to Expresso. Goeiemôre.
Hi guys, nice to be back on the show. Unprecedented, yes. You've put me under some pressure now to explain what we mean with that, eh?
But Dr. Lowe, in the past, how has the Oxford Word of the Year provided a reflection, I think, for all of us on the previous 12 months? And how did the events of 2020 influence exactly that?
Yeah, so usually when we look at a year in review, if I can put it that way, what we find is there's a front runner, one word that we can point to, that we can say, look, this word embodies the year, or this word had the most impact this year. What we found and why we feel it was a really unprecedented year on the language front for us is that in 2020, there wasn't just one word. There were a plethora of new words that just exploded into our collective lexicon, if I can put it that way, and really made a big impact on our lives. So, you know, a trend that we've seen in the past 5 years or so is, I remember coming onto your show and talking about when Oxford picked an emoji, you know, that little face with tears of laughter rolling down our cheeks. As word of the year. I think it was around 2015. You know, and everyone was happy and it was a fun time, and it's gotten progressively darker, and we started seeing words like youthquake and post-truth, toxic, and then last year, end of 2019, climate emergency, which became a really, really big talking point for us. You know, those were all really impactful words, but I haven't seen a year as dark as 2020 in terms of language.
Sure.
So, that's how 2020 compares to previous years, which were already pretty bad.
And that's the beautiful thing about words. Without even looking out your window, you know exactly what's going on in the world when you look at the usage of these words. And so I wanted to ask you, Doctor, what kind of insight do the words that increased in usage last year offer? And I think more importantly, how were these words monitored?
Yeah, so that's where I want to come back to your intro about the unprecedented. And of course, with unprecedented, we don't mean the removal of Donald Trump at the moment. We mean without precedent. It's not the case that we're saying the year itself is unprecedented. Of course, there've been years of tremendous upheaval. You know, we had pandemics before, like the Spanish flu. We had world wars. All of these events had huge impact on language and the way language has been used. But the big difference is that we are now able, through our software, through monitoring the internet with something we call a corpus, we're able to track in real time what the impact of a really big event like this is on the language that we use. So it's exactly through this corpus then that we were able to look at the year, we were able to identify some of the big events that happened through the year. Because, you know, let's not forget, 2020 would have been a big year even if it wasn't for the coronavirus. We had a continuation of the climate emergency with the bushfires. It feels a bit like Groundhog Day at the moment, because at the beginning of last year, we also had an impeachment of a US president. Hopefully this time not an acquittal. And you know, after that, Auntie Rona showed up, and that was the really big plot twist. And a lot of the language became about that, about the coronavirus and about COVID-19. But then there's an amazing welling up of emotion and of almost natural protest against institutionalized racism happening in the wake of the George Floyd killing. And we had Black Lives Matter, and that also had a profound impact on our life last year. You know, so as you kind of go through a timeline of 2020, you realize it was an extraordinary year, not just, you know, for our daily lives, but for language as well and how it evolved through the year.
Well, Dr. Lowe, it really has been a unique year for so many of us. I mean, many people will only ever experience something like this once in a lifetime. And to have you guys track all of these changes and how they influence the way that we speak and the culture and write and the things that the likes of Carl Wasty say on the radio is incredible. Thank you so much for the fantastic work you do.
Thanks very much.
So if you want to know more behind the words of the year for 2020, which was a year that actually made you say, oh my word, then make sure to stick around as Dr. Philip Lowe breaks them down for us a little later.
Weekday mornings can get a little bit hectic, certainly in my household. Countless things to do, but not a lot of time to do them. But we cannot let the morning rush cancel out the most important step and meal of our everyday routine, breakfast. Dietitian Anne-Marie de Beer and the lovely chef Teresa Ulyate are giving us some very healthy breakfast ideas for the kids, prepared the night before or the morning of. So we've covered all our bases, quick, easy recipes that are sure to be a hit, some of my favorite things, and we're going to fly through them. So ladies, once again, welcome to this brand new year. Let's start it with an amazing breakfast. So which are we going to start with first?
I think we're going to start with the eggs. So we're getting creative with breakfast today, which I absolutely love.
So this is on the morning of?
On the morning of, yes. Okay, so I'm going to melt some butter. I'm going to be doing scrambled eggs and fried mushrooms at the same time.
Yummy.
So we're multitasking. All right, so melt your butter over a medium heat. And then you want to lower the heat because you don't want to cook your eggs...
too fast.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want them to dry out. Whisk your eggs with a little bit of milk. You can also use cream as well. There we go. So give it a good whisk. We've got some oil heating up as well. And then you're going to pour that into the middle of your pan. And I'm going to leave that to set for a minute. And while that gets going, I'm going to fry some mushrooms.
Okay.
So nice
You really
and easy.
are multitasking.
I am, yes, yes.
So perhaps just from an energy point of view, keep the cream for a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning, and during the week
boo.
Unfortunately, we have to think about it.
No, exactly, no, exactly. And the fact that we're going to be doing it in the taco form is
Yes,
great.
that's great. So I'm going to season with a bit of salt and pepper. And then what you can do, what I love about this recipe is you can actually cook your mushrooms, cook your egg, and pop it on the table with your side bits and pieces. So we've got cheese and ham, and let the kids build their own breakfast. Let them get involved.
Is that like prosciutto? You went quite zhuzh this morning, eh?
Yeah,
Like...
I mean, you could use bacon, you could use whatever you like. We've got Parma ham today, so
yum.
we're going fancy. And then heat up your tortillas, just warm them up and let everyone make their own. And I think when kids are involved, they're more likely to eat it themselves. It's more fun. It's not just something that you're plonking in front of them. So I love this idea.
It's also a good idea to add some veggies to this building your own meal. So
Absolutely.
something like diced tomatoes or even some green pepper, even some carrots, little carrot sticks, small little carrot sticks would go a long way, because that's an easy way of us actually including
Kind of
fruits and
sneaking it in
vegetables
there,
in their diet. And once again, they vested, so they will...
And I think because I tried that with Jack, where I introduced him to a lot of the foods early on, like, yeah, touch it, feel it, bite it, crunch it. So he now actually makes us give him his food separately. So everything has to be like diced up and separate. So he's got to have carrot sticks, and he's got to have, you know, his cucumber, and then everything is, and woe betide you if anything gets mixed together. He's got to eat it apart. But it's, I think he's as attracted to the texture of something and the color of something, and it's great to let your kids identify with that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So
that
cook the
looks
eggs to your
spectacular.
liking. Pop your ham on, a bit of cheese, and as you say, you can customize it. Get it all on there, fold it up. I mean, that's a breakfast. Do you guys like to start on the overnight? Sure.
Okay, so what's going into this?
Okay, so this is a make ahead one, which I love because mornings are busy and it's nice to have something ready. So we've got some oats in the bowl. We're going to add some chia seeds and a bit of cinnamon. Just adds beautiful flavor. So give it a mix, and then you're going to add your liquid ingredients. So we've got some milk and water mixed together.
Okay, so that's half milk, half water.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can use regular cow's milk, almond milk, coconut milk, depending on what you prefer. And we're also going to add a bit of honey and some vanilla. And then while she's doing that, Graham, would you like to do the coconut topping?
I'm going to do the topping. Ooh, yum.
Yeah, so we've got some plain yogurt with some coconut cream. And then also a little bit of honey and some vanilla. So
I mean, it's
flavour.
It feels quite decadent, but it's not.
No,
You know,
it's
that's the thing. It's luxurious, and there's
Yeah.
so much kind of going into it.
And you can see this mixture is quite runny, but that's absolutely fine. When you leave it for a couple of hours, it'll actually absorb the liquid, the oats and the chia, and it'll get lovely and thick.
How long do you need to leave it for before it kind of gets this thing?
I would say overnight is best, but if you're in a bit of a pinch, 3 or 4 hours is fine.
Okay.
So it'll...
I suppose you'll
quite
see when it
quickly.
starts to... Oh, that's
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Smells divine.
amazing. Yeah.
So nice.
I think what's important around this is, of course, the oats that we've put in here and the benefit of oats. So oats is really a marvelous carbohydrate.
Beta-glucan.
Correct. So if you've got high cholesterol, if you're wanting to lose some weight, this is an easy way of doing it. But the other important bit, and especially for children, is that it provides sustained energy. So if they have this for breakfast with a cup of Milo, they're actually going to be well sustained, well nourished for the morning to carry them in the school day.
And then you pack a little lunchbox Milo as well for when they start.
Oh,
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to dress this
yes,
now.
pop that on. So that's what it would look like once it had thickened. And we've also stirred some yogurt through that after
Look,
it's
it
thickened.
looks... I can't believe how much the
creamy.
chia seeds kind of swell. And
Really thickens it a lot. So you can layer it with your coconut
And I
yogurt.
can add the yogurt, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then, again, you can customize it. So we've got fresh fruit today, but you could use nuts, seeds, coconut, whatever your child likes, whatever you like.
Is it bad for me to think of this as an entree for the scrambled eggs? Should you
not?
be...
Why not?
Because that's something I think I often fall victim to, like portion size. How much is the right amount? Is this like the right amount
This
for,
is a
to
very
kickstart
nice
your day? Okay.
portion, yes, yeah. And we need to be careful of the portions that we are taking because often we overeat or overindulge without actually realizing
Knowing it.
So a tip for everybody is really just to use smaller bowls, smaller plates, because that will really help you. And also it helps with the satisfaction afterwards that you don't eat too fast.
And the beautiful thing, I mean, my son, again, loves blueberries. You know, it's that pop when you've got something and you get that burst of flavor and
Yeah.
it's fresh and it's antioxidant rich. That looks beautiful. Again, I have to ask, what's for the kids, guys?
That one, specifically,
that one is for
Yeah,
it.
such a great breakfast.
Just children are going to be celebrating for the rest of this week. And Marie, thank you so much. Teresa, absolute stellar work here this morning.
Pleasure.
So hopefully this has inspired you to get your hands on these delicious and, yes, ultra nutritious recipes. Visit expressoshow.com and enjoy. Wow.
Breakfast your day with Nestle Milo.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're live here on SABC3. We're talking words, all the words that stood out in the year 2020. Unprecedented, certainly at the top of the list. And we're back on video call with Dr. Philip Lowe from Oxford University Press, Southern Africa, as we really dig deep into it and review the words identified by Oxford languages as the words of the year.
So, you know, the words of the year, as mentioned, unprecedented, but I think we need to get into the nitty-gritty. So, Dr. Lowe, welcome back.
Thanks, guys. I'm very hungry now, so that would be my word of the day is hungry.
Well, we're hungry to learn a bit more about this. And the biggest event of 2020, which had a massive impact not only on vocabulary, but also our lives, was the outbreak of COVID-19, the pandemic. And as it progressed, I believe that we need to get into the nitty-gritty of which kinds of words surrounding the pandemic increased in usage significantly on your side.
Yeah, so, the big one obviously being coronavirus. It was a word that was really consigned to the medical textbooks for much of the time that we've known it, and it has seen 100-fold increase in use. So that's a big one. Then we look at a word like COVID-19. Which is an entirely new word that was created to describe this specific strain. So for us, if we had to pick a new word of the year, an entirely new word of the year, it would probably be COVID-19. But there were many other words that increased in use, words like pandemic, words like lockdown as well. Just to talk about the pandemic quickly, I mean, we know the word epidemic usually, it has been big. We've seen a lot of epidemics the last while, but pandemic, this is probably the first one in our lifetime, where something has had such a global impact that we've needed to call it a pandemic. And then, to move on from there to something like lockdown, what really fascinates me about lockdown was that, especially in the US, lockdown had a very negative connotation. You were thinking about people being in prison. Okay, we can say maybe we're still in prison now, through lockdown. But lockdown in this instance is actually a good thing. And that is why I think, in some parts of the world, they were slow, like the US, to use the word lockdown. They preferred shelter in place, rather, because lockdown had these negative connotations. And then a word that's also come in that's very interesting that refers to a very short-term lockdown, just to flatten the curve, if I can use that phrase, which has become a bit of a buzz phrase as well, is circuit breaker, where you have very stringent measures for a short space of time to just break that cycle of infection. And that's a time we're in now.
Sure.
And then, a couple of other ones. A word that's also really come to the fore for us in South Africa in the last while is this word super spreader. I saw it again on your news coverage this morning, where we've been warned that ATMs might become super spreaders. The president spoke about funerals being super spreader events, and then of course we had that towards the end of last year, the Belito parties and those kind of things, the rages that became huge super spreader events. But if I had to pick my favorite word, sorry, if I can just say this, if I had to pick my favorite word, it's the one COVIDiot. And that's those people that are putting all of us in danger because they refuse to wear masks and, don't follow the lockdown rules.
We need to be getting our hands on these dictionaries because clearly we're missing some of the words. Carl and I have both not heard that one, your favorite one that stood out for you. But of course, Dr. Lowe will be chatting with you some more and unpacking all of those words. Thank you so much for spending the time with us this morning. Of course, there are even more fascinating words to explore, which we'll do a bit later on.
Welcome back at your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and with the first day of school on our heels, it's time to start polishing those shoes, making sure that uniform still fits, and buying your kids back to school stationery. With the Crazy Store to the rescue this year, they are here to get you back to school and get the essentials going and get the kids excited about getting back in the classroom and making shopping that much simpler. And of course, dare we say, affordable too. Get ready to channel some of your creativity and turn it into book covering joy with the Crazy Store's Back to School Book Covering Challenge.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're putting our best parents to the test. We've got in my one corner Jamie Lee, and in the other corner we have the all and encompassing G himself. You guys ready?
I am.
This
Yes.
is
You said like the best parents.
We're the only parents.
Yeah.
So,
They don't need to know that. Guys, the rules are simple, all right? You've got 90 seconds.
Sure.
That is it. That's all you have to cover your books. The most creative book covering wins, and of course, the neatest book covering wins. And of course,
just
make sure
covering
you're
it's
covering
gonna
be
it
a
thing.
in 90 seconds. Are you ready? Jamie Lee, are you ready?
Yes.
G, are you ready?
I
The
think
test
so.
of the best parent begins in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Cover your books. Let's see
I'm gonna
what
imagine it's
strategies
for a little
coming up
girl.
here.
It's for my little
Jamie's already
girl.
got the wrap out. G, what are you going for here, man?
I'm going to imagine this is for my little Baba, so I'm going to imagine, one day I'm going to wrap her books. How cool is that?
Aw, that's
So I'm going to go with the bright, cute, gorgeous,
Right.
shocking pink.
TikTok, TikTok time's going.
Dude, I don't know
time's
about
going.
you, but I used to, whoa, there it goes. I used to fear this as much as going back to school, to be honest.
I was just like you, I was a runner, hey?
so bad at doing this. My poor mom, I'm sure, was put through the ringer with me having to do this.
All right, you guys have
Okay.
1 minute left.
Woo!
He looks like he's in the lead. He's already finished his cut. He's moving over to the fold now.
Wow.
Jamie Lee Domberg is catching up. She's just finished her cut. I don't know who this present's for, but she's got the shiny yellow wrapping out. Guys, the clock is
Oh my
ticking.
goodness.
Go.
It's so hard.
Just been caught up. Clock is ticking. Looks like Jamie's gone into her fold. Gee, come on, you got to catch up. Jamie Lee's
trying, man,
about
I'm
to go
trying,
on the
I'm
tape
trying, I'm
already.
trying, I'm trying.
She's still waiting to get the tape out. Guys,
Oh, my
come on,
word.
keep moving.
This is surely an impossible feat. It's surely an impossible fate.
10, 9,
There's no way.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, ding, ding.
What last piece? Oh, there's no way. There's
Get the
no
wrapping
way.
down. Hands off the table, people. Wow. I'm gonna now try to figure out what's going
Listen.
on here.
You spoke about creativity. This is, again, just a masterpiece. And I apologize to all Luca's parents that I'm ever going to play, Luca's teachers, because I don't know.
Look, Jamie, you came close. You were almost on that fold. Gee, I must say you got that sneaky little fold last minute.
Yeah.
You were looking like it was going to be something
I mean,
from...
given it like an hour and a half, I probably could have done this beautifully. I have a feeling that I could have said, respect, Mom, respect for the years and years I put you through wrapping my books because I was incapable of doing it. Respect. I love you.
I feel you. I could not agree more. Clearly, I think all of us were running away from the wrapping of books when it came to school time. But of course, for you at home, be organized and ready for the first day of school with book labels, markers, book covers, and book covering. And spend some time with the little ones and have some fun getting organized. Yeah. So, it's simple. The thing that I need to do now, of course, is find out who our winner will be. And can you tell what your game plan was going in and how things reflected in your final book covering, G? I don't know. What do you recap on this?
I had focus. Based on my previous failures, I thought I would go in with a logical approach, and I especially made provision for the little bits
I
that
see
you
that.
fold
I see the
in,
technical
and-
cuts coming through.
And I thought that was going to put me in good stead, and then suddenly there were 10 seconds left and I had to finish. But I figured what I'd like is, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Okay,
So
okay.
one half, and then I thought, I'm going to allow my child to grow and show initiative. So I'm going to provide them with an opportunity to finish wrapping the book themselves.
I like
That's
this.
what every child
So it's like a DIY
who's
kit.
who's the better parent? Who's the better parent? Those that do it
Jamie,
for their child or let their child
Do you have
grow?
anything to say to this? What was your strategy going in here?
Have the exact same strategy because we kind of have the same parenting
We're both
style, just like
brilliant
very
parents.
free-spirited. So I just thought, you know what, let me leave this almost as if he's going to have to unwrap it himself.
Like a present.
Like a present. So that was the whole idea behind this. It was like a present for him, like, ba-ba-ba, you going to school for 12 years of your life.
Yeah.
It almost seems like you wrapped it up and gave him the book so that he could just wrap it himself afterwards.
That too. It's like,
Look, guys, without further ado, I have to be the judge and find out who the winner is of our Crazy Store Book Wrapping Challenge.
Come on.
Without further ado, our winner is...
wow.
Well Well, how could
Thank
you
you.
ask how? Jamie Lee Domberg. See, I can't help the fact that you actually got a fold in.
I got
and
a fold.
It looks
it's
like
half
a book.
professional.
It doesn't look like a shiny yellow packet, so I clearly had to go with you. But well done, my man.
Well done, man.
No, well, of course, for the little ones, however, shopping for stationery and school supplies is often the best part of the back-to-school season. So don't let shopping mayhem get you down, and instead head over to your nearest Crazy store and get in on the shopping fun, and keep your kids and school supplies organized with pencil cases and clipboard, fun novelty pens, book bags, and backpacks, to say the least. And these fun items will make you wish you were on the way back to school already. Yeah, that's right. Back to school season doesn't have to be overwhelming or stressful. In fact, at the Crazy Store, getting ready for a new school year is a whole lot of fun. But it's competition time, of course, and now you stand a chance of winning a 500 Rand voucher from the Crazy Store that you can spend on getting all your little ones back to school goodies. And all you got to do is tell us what your favorite back to school items are from the Crazy Store. And of course, remember to include the hashtag the Crazy Store back to school to enter. And your T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. And the competition runs until the 18th of Jan 2021. So get entering. Yeah.
I should have used the glue stick.
What was this about?
I should have just done it all and just stuck it all. I don't
It's a
know.
wrap.
Clearly the winner.
It's a wrap.
Whoever you are, whatever you need, you'll find great value for the whole family at the Crazy Store. So duck into a store near you and be surprised.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, on a beautiful Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for choosing to wake up with us this morning. It's time to go to Tinseltown.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Zoe Brown is behind the scenes, and this is of one of the most loved soapies in South Africa, Laan.
Thank you, Expresso family. It is so great to be with you today, even though I am in Johannesburg. And I'm not just anywhere, I'm on the set of Sewende Laan. We are in the newly renovated Hillside Clinic. And can I just say, growing up watching Sewende Laan, it's been amazing to see all of the different spaces. And today I get to bring you behind the scenes, where we really just get to know the people behind the characters. So let me introduce you to our first guest, Dirk Stolz, better known as De Wet Basson, on Sewende Laan. Good morning.
Good morning. Please, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, well, you know what? It's so nice for us to be here today, and also a very special celebration. I mean, Sewende Laan recently airing its 5,000th
5,000, can you believe
episode.
it? Eh? Yeah.
That is
20 years.
unbelievable. 20 years. Now, your character is rather on the newer side. When you auditioned to be De Wet, what was that initial character process like for you? Could you connect with the villain immediately, or did you feel like you had to get used to it?
Yeah, you see, there was a bit of a twist in the whole time, because I was here 15 years ago, also as a bad guy, and so when they auditioned for this part, it was a completely new character. But then they realized after they cast me that I've been here before, so they had to try and merge the timeline. So from that perspective, it was quite difficult to try and get a continuity from 15 years ago to where we are today.
Okay. And then in terms of, I mean, we are in the hospital scene right now. How often would you visit or be part of this set?
It depends on who did what to me. Yes.
Is that how you end up here?
That's how I end up here, yeah. I don't come here too often.
And then in terms of your personality, I mean, how much more different are you to De Wet?
People always ask you that. I think that everybody's got some bad in them, and most people have got good in them. So I'm quite different from this. I'm a family man myself, and he's also he's big on family. But when it comes to doing things to people, I think I'm very different to that. Yeah, I'm more of a background guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since you are a bit more of a background guy, I have to ask you this now in terms of getting into that headspace, into your character. Is there a bit of a process involved, or is it quite you just switch on the minute you're in your outfit?
No, there's definitely a process involved, because we've got quite a machine going here. So there's a lot of scenes we do in a day. So when you come prepared. So when you prepare at home, you kind of get into character already at home, and you come here and you just walk on. Because if you don't follow the process, no one can just walk in here and do it. Well, I can't. It's quite a process, and it takes a while for me at least, because I'm not 20 anymore. So I need to prepare well.
Okay, well, that's amazing to know that preparation is key. And then you do say that you guys are block filming a bunch of episodes. Yes. Now, are you allowed to give us any teasers of what our viewers can expect from De Wet? Are you allowed to?
No.
No, okay.
No. But what I can tell you is something is going to happen that's going to blow people's minds, and they're not going to expect that. Not from De Wet, and what happens to De Wet as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if I was you, I would keep on watching.
Oh, definitely keep on watching. I mean, Sewende Laan has been keeping South African audiences captivated for close to 20 years, going into 21 years.
20,
that is amazing.
It's about our age.
It is, yeah. So, well, this is the 21st year of filming. You guys have just surpassed your 5,000th episode, which is amazing. Now, it's always been a dream of mine to try acting.
Oh,
and I
really?
don't know if you are able to just give me a little bit of a hint on if we had to make an impromptu scene of you being in the hospital in the
But if I look at your hair, you look like a Connie to me.
A Connie? So okay, I would love to be Connie.
How would you like to be Connie for the day?
Ek sal love. Ek maak nou Afrikaans met jou praat.
Well, it's your choice. Wil jy dit in Afrikaans of Engels doen?
Ons doen hom so 'n bietjie in Afrikaans.
Ja, want
dit is Sewende Laan.
Okay, so wat gebeur is? Okay, jy is daar, jy's agter jou counter. De Wet kom ingestap. Hy kyk bietjie rond, en Andre was hy deel van 'n court case gewees, en De Wet was veronderstel om sy beste vriend te wees, maar De Wet het hom bietjie in die rug gesteek.
Okay, met
Jy weet
Mariaan.
waarvan ek praat, met Mariaan. Okay. Goed, en hier kom ek in.
Kan ek jou help?
Nee, ek kyk net bietjie rond. Stap jy nader.
Wat gaan aan tussen jou en Mariaan? Ek het nie geweet julle is sulke boesemvriende nie. Ek het gesien op die internet.
Ek gee om vir Mariaan. Dit wat jy wil hoor?
En die hofsaak?
Ons is vriende. En nou het sy verdwyn. Sy antwoord nie, haar foon nie, vakansie sê sy het oujaarsaand verdwyn en niemand weet waar sy is nie.
Gaan jy haar soek?
Ons weet nog nie of sy self verdwyn het nie. Nee, wel man sê nie 'n woord nie. Ek kry gevoel dat hulle steek iets weg.
Maar waar dink jy is sy?
Ek weet nie.
See, that's how you improv.
Wow.
I tried. I
Nee,
wasn't
los
sure
hierdie
which
job, los
character.
hierdie job. Come here.
Oh, David, well, I'm calling you David, and I think that is something a lot of people do, Dirk. They
Yes,
call
they
you by
do.
your character.
Yeah.
Lastly, just to say thank you for having us on set today. What
Thanks.
what did it mean for you to be part of the 5,000th episode?
It's the best. You know, I picked the right time to come back, eh?
You definitely did. You definitely
Thanks
did.
very much. Thanks very much.
You're amazing. All the best for today's filming, and stick around to your Feel Good Breakfast show because we have more set visits to do, and that's coming up in a little bit. And of course, stay tuned to Seven de Laan, which you can catch every weeknight on SABC2 at 6 p.m.
Die waarheid.
What are you talking about?
Die waarheid is ek. Daarby sou ek gee om vir Connie.
Honestly, you know what, Carl, this is getting tired now. We are living in the middle of a pandemic, and these little emotional outbursts of yours, they really are getting annoying. Honestly, get a grip.
There's more to it, Tabiso.
What now?
I don't only love Connie. I love vegetable lasagna.
Oh, just put your mask on, for goodness sake.
I am a vegan. Oh my word, that's too much fun actually. We've condensed the entire amount of fun for this entire show into the last 10 minutes. Absolutely awesome. So let's have a little bit of veggie fun, shall we? We're going to whip up a vegetable lasagna just for my liefie. Carl, you can come in, yes son. Come and join me for this. We're going to do something quite special. So you're going to come around me, kind of around me. Are you really vegan?
I am indeed. I am your vegan.
We're going to have too much fun with this today. I think it wasn't very good.
You know what?
Hey?
I did tell you this. I feel like there's an acting debut coming in 2021 for Zoe Brown.
I think she's just earned her cameo. She has done that. But let's get back down to business. We're going to be whipping up a completely vegetable-based lasagna that is delicious. It's got all the right kind of textures, the right flavor profile, everything that you need from a lasagna. But of course, it is completely meat-free. And we've got some interesting little turnips here, like a cashew nut cream cheese.
Excuse me,
Get out of town.
cashew nut cream cheese.
Yeah. And you got some coconut cheese over there. It's all going crazy. So I'm going to start with the base, because you need a beautiful sauce, of course, which is going to become the kind of the binding flavors going through everything. So
Indeed.
I'm going to gooi a bit of, you see, the gooi.
When you say
Seven
gooi a
Laan-
bit, it's got you.
The Seven de Laan has gripped
You know what? You
really.
actually have to do all of this with a bit more drama. I think that's what you need.
Wait for it.
There we go.
The pan is ready.
The oil. It's beautiful.
And then I'm
Okay,
going to start,
we done.
I'm
Yes.
going to start with the sweet potato because that'll take a little bit longer to cook. But sweet potato, absolutely lovely. I've got some onion, which is going to go in there as well.
You know, if you're struggling to follow, don't worry. You go to expressoshow.com, the recipe will be there. But for now, we're enjoying our dramatic scene. Enjoying some sweet potato, and you put in the zucchini as well as the onion.
I'm too smooth and creamy to be a zucchini.
That's right.
Otherwise known as courgettes. Then we've got some freshly chopped garlic. You know, as a rule, don't gooi the garlic in there too early. You don't want it to burn. It's actually got a high sugar content, so it burns really quickly. People often make the mistake of putting the garlic in first and cooking that. And then by the time you've introduced all the other ingredients, you've already burnt off your garlic. We've got some beautiful chopped up red pepper.
Those look wonderful.
Hey,
especially
that
the
look
proper
lovely.
color. You know what I like? When food looks good in the pan already,
yeah,
then I get very excited.
It looks vital. It looks healthy. You know, they say we eat with our eyes. Well, you really do it. Your brain identifies all of those key nutrients, the vitamins, by the colors. I think that's probably half of why we identify with color. And then we're going to just add a little bit of our tomato.
Is that also
puree.
A vegan?
It's a vegan tomato.
Puree?
It's not your carnivorous tomatoes.
That's
from Peru.
Yeah, not those ones.
So this we're going to really just let cook down, and that's going to take us a little while.
That's fine.
So we're going to let that cook for as long as possible. Then I'm going to need you to help me out here.
I'm ready.
And mix our white sauce, if you will. Did you see how I did?
Yes.
White sauce. Because it does come with a slight difference. Oh, I forgot the basil. We're going to put some fresh basil in there as well.
Fine. Basil will forgive you.
Basil, get in there.
Basil!
Okay.
So you want to mix
beautiful.
up
Okay.
this
So
white
what you're going to
sauce.
do is you're going to start with your cashew nut cream cheese. Okay.
Got
It's
it.
obviously got a great texture. I've never tasted it. I'm dying to know what it tastes like, man. I almost want you to take one for the team and taste it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's mix it up first. So what do we have
What do
here?
you think this is?
This looks...
You can smell it if you want. I don't know what it's going to smell like.
I feel like it is creamed tofu.
Someone told you that answer,
No,
surely.
not at all. That smells like creamed tofu.
Can I have a dramatic noise, please? How did you know that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes.
It is cream tofu,
Okay.
so that you can pop in there as
All
well.
right, beautiful. Wow, you got really bougie spoons. I like
I know.
that. You don't mess around here.
Get stuck in there.
Okay.
I see a man is hungry, eh?
Of course, okay. You have to make noise when you cook because that way everybody in the house knows that something's coming.
Something good is
All
on
right,
its way.
cool.
And then we've got a beautiful basil pesto there as well.
Pesto,
so you can see the basil flavors. And this is, I think, often a mistake that people make with anything that's vegetable-based is they don't load it with enough flavor. And you've got some beautiful veggie-based flavors. For me, basil is one of those strong, beautiful, gorgeous flavor. So here we're going to have kind of umami, meaty textures, beautiful stuff. And then, of course, we've got our lasagna sheets, which we have parboiled. So this, I think we could have let cook for a little bit longer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to
make it just nice and smooth for you.
Add our first, getting it in there.
Oh, that smells beautiful. The basil. Pesto's popping.
And remember, this is going into the oven to cook a little bit longer, so you don't have to worry if these things aren't cooked all through. So I'm going to create a nice little base. How nice does this look? Then, as I said, we've parboiled our pasta sheets just to aid the cooking process. About 5 minutes in a pot, a little bit of salt and water, easy peasy. Take out a pasta sheet there for me.
All right.
I think 2 of them to layer over.
No problem. Let's layer.
Layer away. Another one.
And let's go.
Oh, that basil pesto is smelling so good. Then put a little bit of your beautiful white sauce on top.
Yes, beautiful.
Giving it an interesting lip there. Cool.
It has to, you know, sometimes you have to have that little interesting...
The veggie lasagna
That's
lip.
right. Okay, let's spread that over.
Ooh,
gorgeous.
That's good.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you took one for the team there.
That's really, really good. And
great.
now we add another layer of our sauces and such. And then this kind of gives you the idea. You repeat this.
Yes.
And then you pop it into the oven. And before you do that, though, you're going to top it with a little bit of our... We've got coconut-based cheese over there, which is also a vegan
I would
cheese.
love to know how that process
Crazy.
happens. That would be gorgeous. Honestly, I'm adding some salt and a bit of
for doing
pepper.
that.
Just to
And then do you want to
sure
throw
it's
2 more
seasoned.
sheets on there?
No problem. Let's go. And if you haven't followed expressoshow.com, I guarantee you it's going to be there.
Little
It
bit
really
of white
will.
sauce. Dun, 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 dun.
On it goes.
Whoa.
On
That was
it
a
goes.
dollop, man.
It has to be.
Is he crazy? Has he lost his mind?
Da-da-da. Okay, cool. Yes.
All right, and I'm going to put the last of the sauce on top, and then you're going to just sprinkle a little bit of our cheese. We might have been a bit too liberal with our first layers.
It's all right.
Some goeie bietjie kaas.
The magic of TV. Let me
There we
guess,
go.
you probably cooked one earlier.
I did, and that's what it looked like. It's absolutely beautiful. It's going to give you all of those wonderful, rich lasagna flavors. And, of course, it is completely meat-free and vegan-friendly. So enjoy it. You can find that recipe on expressoshow.com.
Beautiful. Voila.
Be well. Love, food, life. Welcome terug, julle. This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Yes, celebrating 5,000 episodes of Seven de Laan, all the milestones, some of your favorite characters, as well as your favorite actors. It's all coming your way. Right now, though, the news.
Thanks to be so. Let's start here in South Africa. The Cape of Good Hope, SPCA, yesterday submitted an application to Cape Nature for a permit to capture and translocate Kataza Komaki in Cape Town's much-loved Chakma baboon to the Riverside Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre in Limpopo. Kataza's raiding behaviour continued after his relocation back to Slunkorp from Takai. At Riverside, Kataza will be gradually introduced into a new troop and then rehabilitated before being released into the wild. And it's believed that this is Kataza's only chance to again live as nature intended, wild and free. Then the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, yesterday said there are concerns around the unregulated use of ATMs, which due to the constant physical contact with the machine's keypad and limited social distancing for those waiting in line, could become super spreaders of COVID-19. She said the regulation now is that every bank or financial institution that has an ATM must ensure that there are sanitizers at the facility. It's estimated that 30,000 ATMs will need to be equipped to comply with the new Alert Level 3 regulations. Casting a wider net on the international front, members of the gorilla troop in the world's largest zoo, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park in California, USA, have tested positive for COVID-19. The zoo's executive director, Lisa Peterson, yesterday said apart from some congestion and coughing, the gorillas are doing well and they are hoping for a full recovery. The troop remains quarantined together and are eating and drinking. Gorillas share up to 98% of their DNA with humans, and studies have found that some non-human primates are susceptible to COVID-19 infection. The zoo has been closed to visitors since early December. Bringing it back to the continent, Uganda's communications regulator has ordered the shutdown of social media and messaging applications ahead of a highly charged election tomorrow. The vote will come after one of the bloodiest campaigns in years as veteran leader Yoweri Museveni seeks a sixth term against pop star turned MP Bobby Wine, who has managed to fire up a youthful population that has mostly known only one president. Despite the 38-year-old's popularity, few observers believe he can pull off a victory against Museveni, a 76-year-old former rebel leader who has ruled since 1986. And now some news from the world of entertainment. Michael B. Jordan, popular Black Panther actor and recently voted People's Sexiest Man Alive, is no longer single. The 33-year-old actor has just gone Instagram official with 23-year-old model Lori Harvey. This some 2 months after they were first spotted together. He posted two pictures on Instagram, one in which they are looking into each other's eyes. Harvey shared two Polaroids to her grid, one where Jordan kisses her on the cheek and one where the couple poses in front of a Christmas tree. She captioned the post with a single brown heart. Harvey, a daughter of internationally known media personality Steve Harvey, is a successful model in her own right who has walked runways for Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel and Calvin Klein. South Africa will especially remember Steve, of course, as the host of the Miss Universe pageant in 2019 when Zozi Tunzi was crowned Queen of the Universe. Many fans took to their social media pages to congratulate the couple, but some, understandably, were left heartbroken and asked the Black Panther star if this was just a popularity stunt. But alas, this time social media is not spinning a yarn. You can pick yourself up off the floor as we delve into our sporting headlines. Yesterday, South African rugby announced the kick-off times for the Currie Cup semi-finals scheduled to take place on Saturday, the 23rd of January. First match will see the table-topping Bulls face the Lions at 2 p.m. That's at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Western Province and the Sharks will then go head-to-head in the second semi-final at 4:30 p.m. That one at Newlands in Cape Town. The Currie Cup final will then take place a week later on Saturday, the 30th of January. Plenty of midweek footballing action to catch up on in the Premier League last night. Victories for Manchester United, Everton and finally one for Sheffield United. Paul Pogba's right-footed shot in the 71st minute was enough to record a 1-0 win for the Red Devils. That was over Burnley. Manchester United now sit at the top of the Premier League standings, 3 points ahead of defending champions Liverpool. In other results, the second half penalty by Billy Sharp secured a long-awaited first Premier League victory for Sheffield United this season. Sheffield beating Newcastle United 1-0, and then Everton were able to overcome Wolves 1-1. Then on to motorsport. Bahrain is set to host the Formula One season opener, as it was announced that the Australian Grand Prix has now been moved from March to November this year. Other changes to the revised Formula One calendar see the return of Italy's Imola circuit. The Chinese Grand Prix was postponed due to ongoing travel restrictions brought on, obviously, by COVID-19. And finally, will Rugby World Cup winning Springbok legend Tendai Beast and Twararira be joining WWE? The 35-year-old former Bok Lucid prop has expressed his interest in joining WWE during a live video chat with WWE superstar Kofi Kingston this week. Beast, who currently plays for US Major League Rugby side Old Glory DC, mentioned that he has always been a massive fan of WWE and looks up to legends in the sport like The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Wouldn't that be a sight? That's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's take another look at some of your beautiful vistas and get a take on the weather.
We asked you to send your sunrise pictures so we can see how you wake up in your part of the country. And thanks a lot to Sanela Lost King from Hammersdale. Posted this interesting sunrise of a bottle leaking out. You can expect a thunderstorm in the evening with temperatures reaching a warm 30 degrees. Nombolelo Zandile Gama captured the sunrise in Soweto. Seems like a thunder shower is expected in your area with a warm 27 degrees maximum. And you too can contribute to our weather report by posting your sunrise photo on Expresso's Facebook page. Still with some weather news. Spain still dominates the global weather scene, where the government has urged the elderly to stay home, but not because of COVID-19. This time because people in central Spain are struggling as deep freeze has followed the weekend's heavy snow. The temperature has plunged to a staggering minus 25 degrees Celsius in Molina de Aragon and Teruel, and Madrid's overnight temperature fell to minus 16 degrees Celsius. And yesterday, the capital's hospitals, already under immense pressure because of COVID-19, battled to cope with patients who had slipped on ice, breaking bones. At least 7 people have died due to the weather, and on Monday alone, some 1,200 fracture cases, an average of 50 an hour, were admitted to hospitals in the Madrid region. Madrid's average temperature this time of the year is 6 degrees Celsius, with a high of 10 at peak. Our thoughts are with Madrid at this particular stage. But on to temperatures in your country. Polokwane, 18 to 29 for you today. Bombela, a low of 19 to a high of 29, 50% chance of precipitation. Pretoria, a high of 28 from a low of 17 degrees. Johannesburg, good morning to you. 27 your high today to a low of 15. Mahikeng, 19 to 29 today. 51% chance of thunder showers in your area. Klerksdorp, 19 to 28. Kimberley, a high of 30 from a low of 21 this morning. Bloemfontein, you are 27 today from a low of 17. Richards Bay, 21 to 32 today. Pietermaritzburg, 18 to 30. Durban, 23 to 30 for you today. Mthatha, 28 your high from a low of 19. East London, 21 to 25. Cradock, your high is 32 degrees Celsius today from a low of 19 this morning. Port Elizabeth, some rain in your area, 56% chance. That's a high of 24 in your area from a low of 21. George, 19 to 23. Cape Town, you are 20 this morning to a high of 30 a little later. Worcester, 20 to 34 in your area. Sutherland, 16 to 30 this morning. And then Uppington, 24 to 34 is your temperatures today. Thanks a lot for all your sunrise pictures. Please keep them coming and stick with us right here on Expresso.
All right, so we're going to continue exploring the words of an unprecedented year, 2020, with Dr. Philip Lowe from the Oxford University Press of Southern Africa. Phil, great to have you with us as we wrap up our chat in just a few minutes. I've got to imagine with all of us working from home and technology taking a massive leap forward, there've got to be some keywords in that space. What were some of the big words relating to technology and working from home that emerged?
Yeah, well, remote is the big one for me, because that's completely changed its meaning. If you looked at last year, the year before, 2019, you would have seen remote being used with something like island and village places you want to visit. But now, when you look at remote, it mostly combines with learning and working. And of course, with remote learning and remote working, there are words like Zoom that have almost become like Hoover. You know, when you talk about vacuuming, you talk about Hoover. When you talk about an online meeting now, you talk about Zoom. And with Zoom comes Zoom bombing, which I'm very glad my kids haven't done to me this morning. And those of us who have pets obviously have to deal with on a daily basis.
Well, that's because you've locked your kids in the closet behind you, Doctor. I mean, we know about you and how
I
you
locked
do that.
myself in.
So, Doctor, what would you say is the one thing that really has stood out in the way that we use these words, not only in relation to, obviously, the current situation that everyone's going through, but in everyday life? What's the one thing that's sort of stood out about how we use these words?
I think one thing that stood out for me, again, over the year, and it was reiterated last week with the things that happened in the US Capitol, is the power of words to divide us, but also the power of words to unite us. You know, and I think if we've learned anything from 2020, is that we need to delve into our collective lexicon and really muster up some utterances of unity, so that we can tackle this thing that hopefully the word of the year for 2021 will be vaccine, and that the next time I talk to you guys, I'll be able to come and sit in the studio with you and have a conversation.
I've got to say thank you so much for joining us this morning. We love your perspective. Thank you for putting in the hard yards, because it does help us see our world in a different light. And thank you for reinforcing just how powerful are the words that we use. And hopefully people will listen to what you have just said, and we will use our words more effectively in 2021. But Doctor, thank you so much. Enjoy soaking up all the new words for a brand new year, and have a fantastic and abundant year as well. It's been great connecting with you.
Thanks very much. I'm off to breakfast now.
Superb stuff. So hopefully you have taken something home from this unprecedented year of 2020 that you can use in 2021. It's a fresh start.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso at SABC3, and it's time for some movie talk, and we have some enticing trailers for you with somebody who is very, very au fait with every single movie that comes out. He is the authority, in my opinion, when it comes to movies of any sort, foreign, local. This is J.P. Sebastian.
No pressure.
Yes.
Sure.
I have to, no, but you always bring it, and I think today you brought some really, really beautiful movies to the table, and I love movies that intrigue me on an emotional level, movies that delve into issues that have not really been dealt with on the public space, and you know, and let's start with the first one, The Reason I Jump.
So there are a trillion things that I feel like I need to know more about.
Yeah.
And one of them is autism. Oh, thanks. So you're just admitting that I'm a stupid person.
No, I
Yes,
agree with you. That's the yours.
So it is a true story. I'm glad that you watched the trailer before. You can tell us a bit about what gripped you about it in a bit.
Absolutely.
But the story is, it's a memoir of a guy. His name is Naoki Higashida. And at age 13 wrote this book, The Reason I Jump. And he is what is referred to as a non-speaking autistic person. And obviously autism is this huge, like, 3D spectrum that I don't know way enough about, but I'm sure that this movie is going to give me better insight. So no speaking at all. And he says at the very start of the book, like, you cannot understand the frustration of being, it being Mother's Day and you not being able to say thank you.
Yes.
To write this, pointed every letter of the alphabet to write the entire book. And the movie then tries to, as we were discussing earlier, try to help you see through the eyes of what it must feel like to say whether struggle or just see the world differently, because it's not all about the pain of having autism. Well, what is it that stood out for you when you checked this out for the first time?
Well, I mean, I have a brother who's Down syndrome, and I've always been telling my pops that he communicates differently. You have to understand what the communication platform is, because we get very pompous on our communicative platforms, and we think, you know, the way you communicate is I need to look at you, show you body language, and then give you words. But I think that when you understand these things like autism and people who are on the spectrum, you need to understand that you need to get down, in fact, get up to a level of communication.
Well, yeah, because and I think while that stuff is fantastic, that it gives you and I a better chance at experiencing our own Cole and JP empathy for other living things.
Absolutely.
It also just helps autistic people and people with autism and within the spectrum being like, that's me. That is what it feels like. Seriously. So we, as what they refer to generally as neurotypical people, which is what is neurotypical, if so many people have depression, if so many people have anxiety, if so many people have autism, whatever, who's normal in inverted commas, can probably benefit from this. And especially, you know, you refer to your dad, parents, seeing like that person's way is different, and we've made a world where they're bottlenecked into thinking what we think is the right way of communicating. But the dude wrote a book. I think this is like his 15th book, and I don't need to tell you that, oh, this person deserves to live because they're a writer. They deserve to live and express themselves just because they're human. And The Reason I Jump is a beautiful expression by the looks of things.
I think it's going to be a gorgeous movie. Let's move swiftly on to Apples, which is a very curious movie. And the lead character sounds like somebody who I'm going to connect with. And actually, just at every single turn, you want to know what's next and what's next. So Apples.
Okay, well, I hope that you remember him after this movie. Because the story is about amnesia. And again, so I've themed this entire segment about like mental...
I can tell.
Stuff like that. Yes. Thank you for noticing.
Anytime.
My efforts. Finally, someone understands my communication. So Apples is Greece's official submission to the Oscars for consideration in 2021. And it is this kind of story that, like I was telling you, if you enjoyed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or if you enjoyed The Truman Show, and the story, because this isn't a documentary, previous one was, is about a pandemic that goes global, and one of the symptoms of it is that people get amnesia. So this guy's in an institute where they go, look, we're gonna have to write off the past. No one's claimed you. We don't know who your family is. So let's just make a new you. And he, for example, forgets that he hates apples, but he eats them now all of a sudden. And love intervenes in all of this, and I think for someone who is also suffering the symptoms of this pandemic is the love interest, and they together lean on each other and try to just reinvent the world for themselves. I think after 2020, there's going to be a lot of amnesia of how we got here. What a weird time this is, and how a lot of things are going to have to force to change, and how we're going to have to leave the past behind. Maybe Apples is going to help people therapeutize themselves for the trauma that we've been through. It looks interesting enough, yeah.
And you know, on your narrative of humanity when it comes to autism, you're talking about amnesia. Now let's get into a director who seems to have some sort of latent thing going on that we'll find in this movie called Being a Human Person.
Yes. So Being a Human Person is about Roy Andersson, and he's a Swedish filmmaker who has done this for 50 years. These sort of DIY films. Everything we see is, I was just talking to Grant about Michael Bay and everything's Transformers or X-Men or whatever. Blah, blah. Okay, X-Men's one of the worst. I mean Avengers. But, you know, people are still making DIY films on their own terms, and he finally was recognized, Roy Andersson, this DIY filmmaker, for his strange style of doing things, recognized by the Venice Film Festival, and he's a Cannes winner, Cannes Film Award winner, this small movie. And so after 50 years of finally getting noticed, he has all this pressure of doing his last movie. And he is a man who is our dad's age, who is now confronting the idea of inevitability, whether that's retirement, whether that's life just passing you by, and he's questioning whether his art is an expression of his own things he's just not been dealing with. We were talking about in the trailer, you see that he struggles with alcoholism.
Yes.
And so it's this great story about, you know, are people who make movies, is each movie like a cry for help? Has this person ever confronted, like, you know, his difficulties, or just tried to exhibit to you as the public, like, what they're going through? So maybe this gives you a bit more empathy to, like, filmmakers, and especially people who are going through this difficulty of passing on in their career into this new phase of things. That Being a Human Person looks fascinating as well.
It does indeed, and I think I love the fact you gave us a collection of movies that will inspire empathy in us when you go and watch them eventually. So Reason I Jump, Apples, Being a Human Person, those are the first three. More to come with JP Sebastian a little later, and some of the movies you'll love, foreign language films that are going to entice you and intrigue you. But for now, entice and intrigue when it comes to hair and makeup with Zoe.
Tabisa, I
have
dark secrets. something I've never told anyone before. And it's burning me up inside.
You don't need to worry about it. I will never tell Lindsay. Come on.
It's just too intense. I wear daytime makeup. You're a trick. No, I do actually. I do wear a little bit of daytime makeup.
Thank you, Graham and Tabiso. Well, we are here at Seven de Laan behind the scenes, and as you can see, lots of clothing behind me because we are in the wardrobe department. Now, when you think lights, camera, action, there's actually a lot of pre-production that gets involved. I'm here with actor Andre Lotter, who plays the character of Rikus Velman, as well as head of wardrobe, Ashlyn Naundorf. She's here with us today, and we're just really going to talk about characters getting into their clothing, the process that gets involved. And Andre, you are looking dapper today. Is this one of the outfits your character would wear?
This is definitely one of the outfits. Usually he's like sporty combined with this, but now the direction with him is going more business-like, more formal like this, and I like it a lot. So
is this your favorite outfit?
This is one of my favorite outfits, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And
the color scheme, I mean, suits, I just feel dapper in it.
Now, one of my questions is, when you step into your suit or your clothing for the day, do you feel like that's when the character is born, or is there a bit more of a process to it?
That's the process. So you get on set and you have to do makeup. That's the first process. But me, I start with getting my shoes, my trousers on, shoes, and you start getting the character. And especially with a suit or formal wear, you feel more dapper. You get into the character. So yeah, definitely, and it helps.
It definitely helps, and it looks good. I mean, when it comes to putting these looks together, I can just imagine a lot of thinking and creativity involved. Ashlyn, you're the lady behind all of the looks. I'm standing here and I'm overwhelmed by the amount of clothing that I'm seeing. When you get a brief for a different actor or actress, how do you make it? How do you work a brief when you receive it?
So we receive a character sketch basically from script department and the producer, and we sit with the producer and the creative director and work out the look, mostly based on career, what their profession is, what they do in their spare time, and then we also style them according to scripts.
Okay. And does a bit of their own personality get to filter through when it comes to constructing the looks?
Sometimes yes, I would say so, because I think some of their own personality is also in their character. So yeah, you do have a bit of their touch every now and again.
I love it. And I mean, I'm looking at some of these pieces and it's really, really beautiful. How do you manage to keep the actor's wardrobe up to date and trendy with what's going on in fashion at the moment?
Okay, so we usually do a big shop twice a year that's seasonal. So we'll do a summer, spring, summer, and then an autumn, winter range basically for each character. And then we'll just top up weekly or monthly if something is trending, or if they need a going out outfit or something specific.
Oh, you're living the dream, like getting to shop and literally dress everyone. Andre, I know Seven de Laan recently celebrated its 5,000th episode. What was that like for you, being part of it?
It was exciting. I mean, I've been watching Seven de Laan since the beginning, and as a student actor, you always want to be part of it, you know. So being part of it now and celebrating 5,000 episodes and 20 years, that is ecstatic, and being able to be part of it, the journey of Seven de Laan, the change of Seven de Laan from studios, from kind of more drama soap driven than just soap driven. That is fantastic, because as an actor you want to play drama more than, you know, comedy. So specifically me. So it's a special place to be working at. Yeah.
Have you ever walked off set with your character's clothing, like
I have
pretended to be him?
I have walked off with my watch and ring before, but the wardrobe never the wardrobe, because it's obvious. But the watch and the ring, you don't really feel it, and because I wear a watch and ring as well, so with the ring and the watch, yes. Sorry, Ash. Sorry.
Ashlyn, how do you keep track of everything? I mean, I'm looking at all of this here. Where do you even begin to start?
So basically each character has a certain section, and I would say after we style or wrap the wardrobe, we always place it back into that section. But once you work with it every day, you can recognize all the clothes and know exactly who it belongs to. So it becomes quite easy if you do it every day.
Well, I love that. I absolutely love it. I would love to come and work here, see all these clothing. In fact, just to come and shop and put an outfit together. Stay tuned. We have more. We're going to be catching up with KB, who plays the character of Lesejo. She's going to be on Lesedi, rather. We're going to catch up with her in the makeup chair. And do not miss out on anything. Seven de Laan, you can catch it every weeknight at 6 p.m. on SABC2. This is amazing.
So, we asked you a very simple question. And
Yes.
I mean, by the way, Zoe and acting, can I call it again?
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It definitely is going to happen. Dun, dun, dun. So, talking about Seven de Laan, we asked you about your characters. Do you have any favorites that come to your mind?
Aggie. I think she's sweet, she's lovely, she's just gorgeous, and she's one of the stalwarts on the show. So I would probably say Aggie. Look, I don't watch a lot of soapies, but she stood out for me, man.
Well, when it comes to favorites from my side, Obas is going to be like, I mean,
the OG.
Yeah, I love the OG. It used to be so much, like a part of the life. It used to be a part of the process, doing homework and Seven de Laan. But when it comes to commentary, thank you very much for jumping in on the Facebook page. We got our first one here. This is from Daphne, Charmaine, and dear little Clanky. I feel like you're talking about me, but it's the best soapy TV has to offer, and we absolutely love them all. Thanks a lot, Daphne. Do appreciate that.
Then Cindy straight, I'm saying Gita for sure. Sly as hell. And about 10 emojis.
Yes, Lisa, you feel me. Obas, he is a legend, the OG, as Graham mentioned.
Yeah. And then we got another comment coming from Courtney Kate saying, morning fam, it's got to be Rikus. He's handsome, down to earth, and has a good heart.
And then we also got one from Ruan Kleinans, Maria, because she has always been so generous with everyone. But if you get on her wrong side, careful. Lumkela.
We've got one more coming through from Debbie. Been watching Seven de Laan for many moons and years. Just love all of the laughs, crying and drama. My favorite is Vince, because my son Clinton kind of looks like him. Let's tell you all. It's actually not half true, man. Not half wrong. Well done. Thank you so much for weighing in. Who is your favorite Seven de Laan character? Let us know on any of our social media platforms.
time for another session with one of my favorite F words, food, with the chef extraordinaire, Clermont Pedron. Now, the thing is, it's time to soup up your lunch routine in Mzansi. You know that Chef Clem has always got something up his sleeve, and there's a staple in your pantry right now. It's sitting there, and you may be scared of it. I don't want you to be anymore. It's tuna. And we're freshening it up a bit. We're giving it a tasty twist, and it's easy to prepare for lunch. It's any option for you. If you want to go healthy, I feel like this is the one to go for. It's a crunchy summer veggie roll. And the thing is, even during December, you may have got yourself some rolls here, but this could actually help you limit the rolls with a roll, like rollception, an idea.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? Like,
how many people in South Africa now just look down?
I think everybody did like, it happens to the best of us. Trust me, I know. I'm sucking in as we speak.
Me too. Okay, this one's really great because the temperature today in Cape Town is disrespectfully hot. 33. You're not going to want to have a boertie, a stew, a soup. You want something light, fresh, and crispy. This is the dish. Also, what I absolutely love about tuna is the fact that it's inexpensive, number one, but an amazing source of protein.
Absolutely.
So, like, whether you are just looking to, like, have a healthier meal, it's the one. Where you want a treat, it's the one. And it comes in a can.
And I mean, it's nice and easy though. I feel like people are scared of it because, you know, as soon as you drain the liquid out of tuna, then you get that dryness. And I think that with all of your complementing ingredients, we may just take the dryness away and get that healthy factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, first things first, we're going to build these amazing little spring rolls.
Okay.
What I love about it, everything is, it's a chilled spring roll. We're not frying anything. Okay? I'm going to ask you to help me out with this one.
I'm ready.
I've got some rice paper wrappers, which you get in the kit. Let me just grab the kit over here. So in the kit, you get the rice paper wrappers, you get the vermicelli noodles, you get the dipping sauce. It's everything you need already done. Okay, cool.
I like that.
You're smiling.
I like that because, you know, you don't want to do too much hard work in January. You just want something from Woolworths like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so I've soaked your rice paper wrappers. They're in there already. You can maybe grab one.
Okay.
You can grab one, put it on your chopping board. I'm going to grab one too.
All right, let's go. I'm going to dunk in here. I think that the stickiness of this, is there a hack to try and avoid that? Is this the soaking factor, or is it just about care when it comes to actually assembly?
I've seen people do some crazy things with the rice. Like, first of all, I see people putting in hot water or pouring boiling water over. Don't do that. It's gonna fall apart on you, and you're gonna be like, what happened? You just need cold water. That's all you need. That's gonna soften it.
Chopping skills.
You know?
Relax.
And these are munch too.
I always say, you know what? I was called one day and said, look, you want to go to the shop, give me main stout, man. And I'm like, are you talking about Mojati? And then it was, Mojati.
Did they know what you're talking about?
No, they didn't know.
After that, though.
Dat groendinges is actually another word that they use,
These are delicious.
I love those.
Amazing to snack on. And it's, like, again, raw. Don't cook it. You can cook it. Don't. Okay, cool.
Beautiful.
I'm going to grab myself a rice paper wrapper here. Then, Carl, if you'll take that crunch Asian-style slaw.
This is actually one of my favorite ones. Whenever I have a braai, this is the freshness that you need.
It is, absolutely. And we're all about the sides for our braai.
Can I
That's
open
an
this
amazing
up for
one.
you?
Yeah,
Now,
if you can add that to that bowl that's in front of you.
Okay, do you want me to add this beautiful, because this little packet sauce that you have in it is gorgeous. You want to add it?
Yeah, we can. And another thing about the fact that you said tuna tends to go dry sometimes.
Yeah, let's
So you add, but it's just, I don't know why people throw out so much of the liquid. There's so much flavor in there, and I like it.
I feel like I wanted to ask you about that. You know, when you drain it completely, are you really actually supposed to do that? You know, what's the preference with regard to that as well? That's what I'd like to know.
So the preference is, you're going to pour that liquid, try and keep some of it in there because there's actually flavor in that brine or in that oil.
Give me a knife, please. Thank you.
You know what? That's a bit too dangerous. It's the beginning of the year, and I don't want to like. Ina, you good?
Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. So don't throw off all the liquid. Keep it there. And another thing about Woolies tuna is the fact that it's hook and line caught. You know, sustainable, and it supports communities.
Absolutely.
You know that old saying, "There's plenty of fish in the sea." It's not. So we've got to look after our oceans. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Are you ready to build?
I'm ready to bolt. I actually want to mix this in there. Do you have a spoon for me? I know you have one of these. I see. Once again, bougie spoons are important. Okay.
From Woolies. I mean, a black spoon.
I love this.
Me too. I love it. Okay, cool.
It's great.
So I like the fact that you've dressed your slaw already.
Good to
now, here's where you go and you build your own wrap. But just keep in mind, it's a translucent wrap, so you're going to see what's inside.
Yeah.
So if you want to see your slaw, if you want to see the avo, if you want to see the tuna, just let that be the first thing that goes down, because that's going to be your presentation side.
All right.
So what are you going to do?
Okay, well, I do believe we should put them side by side. So what I would probably do is I'll probably do these thin lines of each one of the ingredients.
Okay.
As to properly check them out. So what I'll do is I'll fold that along the lines of it there. And because I want you to see it.
Yeah.
I was chatting to Graham earlier about the visual effects of food. It's so important.
It is very true. You do eat with the eyes first, and I feel like having your dish look presentable is like 50% of the work. Like, then obviously your food has to taste good. But if it looks well presented, you know the person's put effort into what they've done. And the effort is like everything.
If you are just stepping in and you're thinking, what are they making? These are beautiful Asian summer rolls, and they're made with tuna, something, a pantry staple, responsibly sourced tuna from Woolworths. If you want to get the recipe, go to woolworths.co.za. Just a little update for you if you want to try these today on a very hot, summery day in most parts of South Africa. Now, are we rolling?
We're rolling. I don't mind how you roll it.
Okay, you
It's
don't mind.
yours.
Is it mine?
It's
Thank
yours.
you. I'm glad you
So if
said
you wanted
that.
to make like a little parcel, just fold it in together, it's fine. It's
Yes.
okay. Absolutely.
What I like to do is fold at the ends and then I finish it off here with a
Are
bit
you
of
good at rolling
a last-
samosas?
I am not. I have given it a shot. I did this little tour in the Boerkaap in Cape Town, and it actually was quite interesting. But
Because there's a right way.
there is a right way for those. But when it comes to this beautiful little thing over here, now my rice paper is tearing a little bit.
Okay.
Is there a hack for that, or is that just?
Just be delicate.
You
Just
see,
be gentle.
I think I got excited because you're here.
No,
and
don't be
I wanted
excited.
to impress you. So what I did was, I did one without
like
vermicelli.
yours. I like yours.
I did one without vermicelli because I actually wanted you to see the colors there as well.
I like this. It's a good use of tuna. Normally you have to get like, you know, that sushi grade tuna for these rolls. I like the fact that you're using tin tuna. You get such amazing flavor, textures, and it's a chill dish for today.
Exactly.
So I took the dipping sauce that we get with our kit. I popped it in a little bowl. I'm going to take it from... No, I'm not going to take it from there. I just changed my mind.
Yeah, okay.
But some of a little bit of, little bit of peanuts over there. Sprinkle it over. Add some of that dipping sauce. This is honestly what you need to be having tonight in like 30 million degree weather. This is it.
This is it right here. And if you want the recipe, please go to woolworths.co.za. I'm really sorry. I'm tempted.
Me too. Me too. I'm going to go for some of that dipping sauce first.
I would love to talk to you right now on live TV, but just go to Woolworths and get the recipe and feel like this.
Wow.
It's gorgeous. Welcome back to Feel a Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on SABC3, and it's movie time with our guru, JP Sebastian. He's going to give you the lowdown on some more movies. And you know what I love about this session we've been having is the fact that you've been taking on these foreign language films that often would be thrown to the wayside because, oh my word, Tenet's coming out, Wonder Woman 1984.
And those are cool, that's fine, we have lots of fun getting excited about those, but man, these just get lost in the algorithm.
Indeed.
So, I'm cheating a bit here, these aren't the freshest trailers necessarily,
Doesn't
they're
matter.
from last month, but I've got a list of like 50 movies that I have to throw by the wayside from last year because we have to move on with the new year.
Well, New Year and New Order, which is the first one. Now, I checked this trailer out last night, and when I saw it, I had a little image of what the coronavirus pandemic could be. That's the type of chaos that I saw in the trailer. A bit more about New Order, because it starts with a wedding.
And the Capitol Hill thing as well recently.
It is crazy. So I look at it, I look at that wedding, it looks all beautiful, that's how it starts, and then suddenly a couple of people jump over the wall and, you know, things hit the fan.
Which
so what's this about?
The viewer is about to see any minute now. So like you said, we've got this affluent family, and it's set in Mexico City. So interesting, the movie makes no bones about having this actual, like, racial divide. You've got this rich, generally white family, and the house is, there's a break-in and entry from people who look like they're the downtrodden, the oppressed, the walked over, the destitute, and like you said, stuff goes down.
Yes.
Mexico looks like it's in the middle of an insurrection, obviously not the same as the one we just saw in the capital of Washington, D.C., which is, those weren't good people. These, however, are really, really desperately oppressed people, the poor, in a country that's got probably a Gini coefficient, the marker of inequality, that's probably as bad as South Africa's. Yes, our inequality is terrible. So who knows any day when there'll be this kind of like uprising. And so it looks very similar to, if you've seen the movie Parasite, which I'd implore you to, and then once you've seen it, watch it again.
Yes.
It was the Oscar winner last year. And it looks kind of like Parasite was like, yes, I want to do a microcosm of capitalism in one house. And New Order was like, hold my tequila, whole of Mexico City. But aside from like this uprising of the people who have been downtrodden for the longest time, you have this new order being implemented of a stronger form of fascism to replace the old system, to keep the down under squashed down. So hey, good, valuable questions. Like I said, especially in countries with major inequality and a planet with terrible inequality. Hey, we've had so many more billionaires in 2020. I'm so happy. New Order is a worthwhile conversation to have about these kind of things. And hey, well, it might just be warm-blooded fun as well, like stuff like Children of Men, which is deeply thoughtful, as well as Roller Coaster. There's no date for it in SA just yet, but might be a good one to grab people the way Parasite did.
The other trailer that grabbed me is the trailer Mayor. Now, it's a different type of chaos because you can only imagine being a mayor of Ramallah in Palestine. It must be quite an interesting job, but now you get a view into that with Mayor.
Yeah, so the previous segment that we just did was everything in the mind, and now I'm trying to theme you for cities here.
Yes.
And cities as actually our memories in a way. They were repositories of our politics, of our memory. I'm being too airy-fairy, but so let's just get down to the nuts and bolts. Musa Hadid is the man you look at there, who, like you said, is the mayor of Ramallah in Palestine, in the occupied militarily and settler West Bank. And it starts with him, he says, you're playing like Messi, and then misses the ball completely.
I saw that was the best thing.
It looks totally hilarious and has almost like the feeling of anything that we've been enjoying, like Veep or even Parks and Recreation, of someone just trying to go down to the ground and solve a water pipe burst or a pothole. But because it's Palestine, he's a mayor who's working in between potholes and apartheid. And it goes from being hilarious to very, very quickly heartbreaking about an entire place that's under siege by Israel. And I mean, this is a country that killed 27 Palestinians last year in protests, and just last week killed Harun Abu Iram. Well, didn't kill him, but shot him in the neck and made him a quadriplegic. So Mayor is, seems like it's also, fortunately, like I said, similar to New Order, having no bones about, let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the oppressions in the world. And this is a documentary, however, it's not a fiction. It's a shame. This poor guy looks like he's just trying to hold the ship together, but not just under the pressures of like a populace who's like, hey, can I knock down this wall to extend my bedroom? But also the larger imperial forces from above as well. Mayor might be a contender at the Oscars for documentary.
I can feel that from the movie. I love the fact that the emotions are settled in the same place. A bit of comedy, but then a bit of that seriousness that Palestine has to face, which is actually quite beautiful.
So important. Like, the thing is, when oppression emerges, it's never going to have the violence back in it in real life. Like, you're never going to be prepared. And, like, no one goes, oh, the genre you're in right now, Carl, is that you're being oppressed? Like, life will blindside you when at the same time you're laughing, it will reveal itself to be pretty horrible and harsh at times too, and mayo is maybe a good use of that kind of blending.
So world tour for you, because we've gone to Mexico, we've gone to Palestine, let's go to France. Gagarin.
Yes, and I think a better response from last year. They're offering for Oscar consideration. Not that this one is. I'd have to double check. No, I don't think it is the one that they put enough for consideration. But Les Mis last year wasn't as good as it should have been. A lot of French movies, and especially about the impoverished, again, we're talking about here, are living in a long shadow of a movie called Laan, which is a masterpiece and which you should try and see.
Okay.
Gagarin hopefully looks like it's a good younger answer to that. And Yuri is this character you're looking at here. It's a young man who takes upon himself the charge of rescuing a block of flats, a town, basically, the projects, where the city is, like a lot of cities in the world, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be military occupation, is being gentrified so that the poor are being moved out so that the rich can have, I don't know, fancy apartments and stuff like that. And so him and his young friends go into this apartment, fix it up, and they take on this really superhero job of being occupiers of, you know, space that should just be for affordable housing. All that aside, though, it looks really beautiful and dream-like, these sequences. And hey, who doesn't love an underdog story, especially since we're looking at overlooked trailers? Gagarin, no date for it in SA just yet, but totally pertinent, especially in a country like ours, where we have missions of people like this trying to keep land affordable and housing affordable. Maybe Gagarin will pull at the heartstrings and help you with that word we were talking about earlier, empathy. Seeing the humanity in others and that they deserve to live too.
And I see that trend coming through from you, JP, and thank you so much for offering all of the insight into those movies. Make sure you check those ones out, and that includes the likes of New Order, the Gagarin is in there, as well as Mayo, so go check them out when they do arrive in South Africa. Massive thanks to JP once again. Stick with us right here on Expresso.
Now, I don't know why, but I feel like...
Ek is baie trots. Sê vir hom, ek sal hulle later sien. Ek gaan by Hamans kraal en dis hallo Grem, goed om jou te sien. Sê vir Hilde asseblief, ek sal skakel.
I feel like
ja, ek is hier.
He's changed. Something about him has changed. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Ek sal dit dink.
Something is
Ja, maar ek het
not
gebel en
the same.
iemand luister nie. Ja.
Well, Graham and Tabiso, I don't know if I'm going to come back to Cape Town. I'm having so much fun here in Johannesburg on the set of Seven de Laan. And as you can see, we are on hair and makeup. Up next is KB, who plays the character of Lesedi Malloy, and of course, HODLZ, van der Schuyf, who's busy doing her hair and makeup. KB, you are looking absolutely fabulous. I wanted to know from you, your morning routine, when you sit in that chair to get your makeup done, what is your prep? Are you on your phone, like social media, learning some lines?
Depends on the day. I usually try to just, good morning, first of all.
That's fine.
I try to just stay as calm and as quiet as possible, because once I leave the chair, it goes crazy. Then it's a wardrobe, and then it's set with blocking, and, you know, so I try to just stay as calm and as quiet as possible. Sometimes we do have conversations. We have lots of conversations with us. So if you ever need files.
Yeah, she's got everything.
She's got everything.
That is amazing. Now, in terms of your character, Lesedi, your makeup look for Lesedi, does that match up to who you are in person?
A little bit, because we don't use like any bright colors. It's a very natural tones, which I really like. But sometimes I also like to, it depends if I'm going out for an evening thing, then I touch it up a bit and add a bit more. Or if I'm maybe gonna go about my day, then I just tone it down a bit. So I think it's almost there.
It's almost there. But isn't that just the best, getting your makeup done every single day?
I know, right? The worst is when you have nowhere to go. But when I have a meeting, I get so excited because I know I'm going to be on fleek, and else will have done it for me.
Well, Azet, you are the magic behind some of the looks. Now, when you get a brief, what is the process involved to creating that character's makeup look?
Well, like you said, it depends on the brief of the character and the career that they're in. Lesedi, for example, she's a very career-driven, strong woman, and she oozes with confidence. She always has her A game, so she will definitely fit into that corporate world look. And because she's also quite a competitive character, she definitely wants her A game. We look at trends that is applicable for her character, and then to the best of our ability, we're trying to incorporate it with her hair and her makeup.
I love that. I really, really love that. And then in terms of getting her ready for set today, how long would you say from start to finish that process takes?
The initial time that we usually set aside is about 20 minutes.
Okay.
For actresses. The guys obviously take a little bit quicker, sometimes like only about 5 minutes, but it all depends on the storyline and where we're at with a character. Sometimes we need to do things like disguises, sometimes there's special effects, sometimes there's a special occasion that they need to go to, so all of those things are contributing factors into how long the process of makeup will be. And then obviously if it is a long day on set, we also do need to give them touch-ups during the day. So that is something that definitely, it's the initial 20, but there's a whole day that is behind it where there's more time in the chair.
I really love this, and I mean, it's such a special show to be part of. I mean, I grew up watching Seven de Laan. I feel like a little girl being on set, just seeing how the different spaces have transformed since, you know, growing up watching the show. Now, KB, I want to ask you, what did it feel like for you to be part of this milestone of 5,000 episodes?
Wow. It's definitely amazing, you know, and I have a lot of respect for the actors that have been with the show from day one, because I only started in 2017, and I remember my first scene with Matrione. I was so starstruck because I also used to watch Seven de Laan. So being here, I feel a lot of appreciation, and I appreciate being called in to be part of the cast and being part of this legacy project, and just proud to contribute as well to where it is today moving forward.
Yeah. I'm looking at your skin. You are the most beautiful woman. Like, you've got such gorgeous skin. Do you find like the makeup messes with your skincare routine, or?
No, it doesn't. You know, luckily we LZ makes sure that we've got makeup that also looks after our skin. So in terms of the products that she brings in, when she started out, she checked what works for your skin, what doesn't, and so on, because we also want to not use makeup to cover up, but just to enhance. So we're very fortunate that our skin gets looked after as well here at work.
Oh, well, that's fabulous. LZ, I have to ask you, what's your favorite part of your job?
The moment where an actress walks in and you see the process, the thought process of her becoming the character, that is the most stimulating for me. When they walk out of here and suddenly they are in character and they are ready to conquer the world, that is very, very satisfying.
That's what she thinks. I can tell you what her favorite thing. Elzet's favorite moment is when she's bought a new product. And she's like, something to try on you today.
That is, I think, any makeup artist's favorite part. It's just like trying out new products.
That would be a close second.
Oh, I love that. Well, it looks like you guys really have the best time here. There's a special bond between you, LZ, and of course all the makeup artists on set, and each and every actor and actress. All the best of luck for today's filming. Thank you for allowing us into your space and really just to get a behind the scenes of what life on Seven de Laan set is all about. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Enjoy your time here on the lawn. Are you going to be on set?
I'm going to get a bit of a sneak peek to show our Expresso viewers. And of course, you at home, make sure you do not miss any of Seven de Laan's action. Of course, I'm just giving you a little bit of behind the scenes, what's happening with the makeup and the wardrobe and on set. But all of the action takes place every weeknight at 6 p.m. on SABC2.
Tabasina.
Ja.
Ek is honger.
Ja,
Dis
jy het
unprecedented hoe honger ek is.
Graham, jy het baie hard gewerk vandag en ek het 'n klein lasagne vir vegans gemaak vir jou.
Lyk ek soos 'n vegan? Genoeg is genoeg. Daar is iemand anders.
Kom on nou, ons het 'n pandemie.
Is Rael de Mornay.
See you later.
Okay, so that was our last crossing to Seven de Laan. Love you guys. Congratulations on the 5,000th episode. We love and appreciate you. We've had so much fun this morning, so thank you to Zoe. I will actually enjoy this. We're going to get into what is going down with WhatsApp in just a moment, so stick around.
Some changes there.
Fatom.
Are you ready for a sizzling summer holiday in Mzansi? Your best holiday is yet to come when you book at any participating Marriott branded hotel. Redefine your holiday with a beach break, nature retreat, or a road trip adventure. With the Marriott Summer Holiday offer, you can enjoy 25% off standard hotel rates, including free breakfast if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member and 15% if you're a non-Bonvoy member. Book on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is indeed a feel-good breakfast show. Expresso here on SABC3 and still ahead for you. What's up with WhatsApp? We get into that chat and you get to pick somebody's hair color. But before we get there, let's take a look at your news.
Thanks so much, Carl. Let's start here in South Africa with our national news headlines. First, the Department of Basic Education says it is pinning its hopes on the opening of online schools to reduce pressure on school admissions. This as thousands of learners are often left stranded at the beginning of the year when schools reopen, particularly in Gauteng, due to the shortage of schools in the province. Director General Matanzima Mweli says the department is also working with provinces and private education providers to come up with regulations and policies that they can follow to open online public schools. Then the Cape of Good Hope SPCA yesterday submitted an application to Cape Nature for a permit to capture and then translocate Kataza, Cape Town's much-loved chakma baboon, to the Riverside Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre in Limpopo. Kataza's raiding behaviour continued after his relocation back to Slangkop from Takai, and at Riverside, Kataza will be gradually introduced into a new troop and rehabilitated before being released into the wild. It's believed this is Kataza's only chance to again live as nature intended, wild and free. Staying on the continent, but on the international front, Kenyans on social media have lashed out at the country's tourism ministry for appointing British model Naomi Campbell instead of a Kenyan as the ambassador for the Kenyan Tourism Board. They feel the ambassadorial role for so-called magical Kenya should have been given to a Kenyan making impact internationally, like the actress Lupita Nyong'o or comedian Elsa Majimbo. But Tourism Minister Najib Balala said Campbell's appointment was exciting news for the sector. Then members of the gorilla troop in the world's largest zoo, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park in California, USA, have tested positive for COVID-19. The zoo's executive director, Lisa Peterson, yesterday said apart from some congestion and coughing, the gorillas are doing well and they are hoping for a full recovery. The troop remains quarantined together and are eating and drinking. Gorillas share up to 98% of their DNA with humans, and studies have found that some non-human primates are susceptible to COVID-19 infection. The zoo has been closed to visitors since early December. And now news of a South African soapie that stood the test of time. Of course, we've touched on it already many times this morning. Generations have grown up with it. It's been eagerly watched by hundreds of thousands over more than 2 decades, and it's in its 22nd season. SABC2's flagship program, Laan, broadcast its milestone 5,000th episode recently. The significant episode was recorded on the 26th of October last year during Laan's 20th year on air. Directed by Francois Lensley, who has also played the role of Marco Greiling in Laan for the last 18 years. This very special episode coincided with the revamp of an iconic set, Oppie Coffee, in the soapie. Viewers were also treated to a special song by Hildegard Wittis and Kiabetswe KB Mortselanyane, known as Bonita Menkis and Lesedi Molloy on Laan, respectively. The sentimental song, titled Die Laan Song, written by Joe Niemand, embodies the soul of the soapie. And to further celebrate this milestone, SABC2's longest-running current affairs show, Fokus, visited the set and conducted interviews with the cast and crew, which will be exclusively broadcast on Fokus this evening at 7 p.m. So make sure to tune in to Focus on SABC2 at 7 p.m. for a report on the 5,000th episode. What a milestone. Sending another congratulations to the cast and crew as we round off our news headlines for today. Let's get back into the sport. Well, still some scintillating local rugby to sink our teeth into. South African rugby yesterday announced the kick-off times for the Currie Cup semi-finals, scheduled to take place on Saturday, the 23rd of January. Now, the first match will see the table-topping Bulls face the Lions at 2 p.m. That's at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Then Western Province and the Sharks will go head-to-head in a coastal derby in the second semi-final at 4:30 p.m. That one at Newlands down in Cape Town. The Currie Cup final will then take place a week later on Saturday, the 30th of January. Lots of footballing action in our midweek roundup. English Premier League football returned last night with victories for Manchester United, Everton and Sheffield United. Finally, Paul Pogba's right-footed shot in the 71st minute was enough to record a 1-0 win for the Red Devils over Burnley. That means that Manchester United now sit at the top of the Premier League standings, 3 points clear of defending champions Liverpool. And in other results, a second-half penalty by Buddy Sharp secured a long-awaited first Premier League victory for Sheffield United this season. Sheffield beating Newcastle United 1-0. And then Everton were able to put enough on the board to beat Wolves 2-1 on the night. Now we return to four wheels for the latest in motorsport. Bahrain is set to host the first Formula One season opener, as it was announced that the Australian Grand Prix has now been moved from March to November this year. Other changes to the revised F1 calendar see the return of Italy's Imola circuit, and then the Chinese Grand Prix was postponed due to ongoing travel restrictions brought on by COVID-19. And finally, news from the world of wrestling. Well, hopefully, will the Rugby World Cup winning Springbok Tendai Beast and Twararira be joining WWE? The 35-year-old former Bok Lucid prop expressed his interest in joining WWE during a live video chat with WWE superstar Kofi Kingston this week. These two currently plays for US Major League Rugby side Old Glory DC, mentioned that he has always been a fan of WWE and looks up to legends in the sport like The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Oh, please, Lord, let that be a reality. And that's where we leave our sporting headlines for today. Let's take one last look at the weather.
Thank you very much, G-Men. Yes, we did ask you to send in your sunrise pictures so we could see how you wake up in your part of the country. Such stunning pictures have come through. Our regular photographer, Alan Rudnicki, posted a gorgeous lit harbour, or a harbour, yes, in Cape Town. Kanani Sibiti also posted this great photo on our pages. Stunning pictures. Then we got one from Sanele Lust King from Hammersdale, who posted this interesting sunrise of a bottle leaking out. And finally, Nombulelo Zandile Gama captured the beauty of the sunrise in Soweto. And you can also be just like all those wonderful people sent in those pictures by contributing to our report, posting your sunrise pictures on our Expresso Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has almost the entire world in some form of lockdown, and thus we've been most excited to learn that that's one of the world's greatest natural spectacles, that the Aurora borealis, also known as the Northern Lights, can soon be admired virtually in real time. How exciting. Now, this happens at specific times of the year when conditions are just right. In the Delta College Planetarium in Bay City in Michigan in the USA estimates that 22 Jan 2021 will present the perfect conditions for a sighting, and a live streaming is planned. Planetarium manager Mike Murray says that they will deliver a presentation exploring what causes the phenomenon and how to observe all of that beauty. And the event is a free for all to attend and can be watched via the Delta College Planetarium's Facebook page. And for South Africans, the presentation will stream on the 22nd of January at 4 a.m. You're going to have to wake up pretty early for that one. And now we take a look at those temperatures across the country, starting off with Polokwane. Your low today 18, reaching a high of 29 with 4% chance of rain. Mbombela, your low is 19, reaching a maximum of 29 with 50% chance of rain. Pretoria, your temperatures 17 and 28, with Johannesburg starting off at 15 and ending off at a high of 27. If you're out in Mahikeng in the northwest, 19, that's your low, reaching a high of 29, with Klerksdorp 19 peaking at 28. Kimberley, you start off at 21 and peak at 30, with Bloemfontein at 17, 27. Richards Bay 21, reaching a high of 32, with Pietermaritzburg at 18, your low, reaching a high of 30. Thunder showers are expected over there, 40% chance of rain. Durban, South Africa's playground, you've got 23 and 30, with Mthatha rainy times over there, 19 as your low today, reaching a high of 28. If you're out in East London, 21 and 25, with some thunder showers expected out in Craddock, 19, that's your low, reaching a high of 32. The friendly city, Port Elizabeth, 21 and 24, with 57% chance of rain for George today, 19, that's your low, reaching a high of 23. Cape Town, 20 and 30, with Worcester at 20, reaching highs of 34 degrees. If you're out in Sutherland, 16, that's your low, reaching a high of 30. And Uppington, as always, the highest temperatures in the country. Your low today is 24, and you will peak at a high of 34 degrees. And that's where we leave your weather for today. But of course, do keep in mind that we are always on standby and always on the lookout for those beautiful sunrise pictures. Get those through to us on Expresso Morning Show, SABC3.
Time for some good old tech talk, and one thing that's been doing the rounds all over the world is this WhatsApp thing, and it has recently announced a new privacy policy that'll see a change in how its parent company Facebook collects data from the user accounts. Due to privacy concerns, this has resulted in a surge of downloads of alternative communication apps. But what does the updated privacy policy actually mean for your data and security? And do you know what are the privacy policies for the alternatives? And that's why we talked to somebody who knows all about this particular space, and it's such an important conversation. Grant Hines, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, South Africa, for caring about this stuff. You know, as somebody that's in tech and has understood what are the pitfalls of data privacy for a while now, it's nice that people are starting to kind of come to grips with it. Technology is this really interesting thing. We made it.
Yes.
You know, we created this really cool thing, and we can determine how we use it going forward, and being conscious of what it's doing is really important. It's the first step to that.
I think that you can agree, if you've downloaded anything, the one thing that has been sort of, when a friend of yours says, download this app very quickly, you want to get on your phone as quick as possible and you just go agree and you move on. But ever since that Face app thing happened with my phone, I was thinking, hold on, this is data that I'm sharing with somebody just so I could look like an old man. And that's the truth. And I think that this is where we need to ask the question about the big concern about this ultimatum on the 8th of Feb, WhatsApp saying, if you don't agree, we're going to shut you down, which is causing a bit of a stir. Why is this so important to WhatsApp to actually provide an ultimatum to its users?
Okay, so Facebook is a company that's designed to make money.
Yes.
And they want to make money off of us. Remember the whole old phrase, if the product is free and you're using it, you are actually the product.
Yeah.
And we are the products to these apps. And what we provide for them is data on how we use them, where we are, how long do our phones last. Those are the kind of things that WhatsApp is using. In fact, WhatsApp have stuck with the whole idea that our messages are encrypted, so they don't necessarily have access to our messages. But that's kind of deceiving in and of itself.
Yes.
Because that's not the thing we're worried about. I'm not too worried about people reading my messages. I'm more worried about what other information they're gathering from your device. And WhatsApp has access to your accelerometer, your gyroscope, your cameras. It's got access to a lot of different technology on your device. And what they do with that technology is the scary part. And they're sharing that to Facebook, and that can be used as advertising revenue. you. And then the scary part about that, because a lot of people have come up to me going, I don't care, I want tailor-made ads, whatever, is that when a client is approaching Facebook, like a motor car company, and they pay for the right to speak to you, and you do not have the rights to not listen to them, that's where it gets very dangerous.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I hope people understand why data privacy is such a thing that we need to do, and these people are becoming super rich. Again, I've spoke about this quote by Yuval Nahiri before on the show. He talks about, and you kind of had this thing with the Face app, it's kind of like the new colonization. We've given away this incredibly valuable piece of product, our data, to these tech companies for the ability to do free email and to upload pictures to Facebook and to make myself look old on a Face app. And we've got to be very careful about that.
Absolutely. Now, if you look at all the applications we chatted about, Face app as well as TikTok have a couple of policies that I don't think people know about, but you download it because it's trendy, so you just get caught up in that.
And you're a trendster.
Thank you very much. Well, we'll see what your hair color is going to be later, then you'll see who's trendy. Anyway, so the other applications that you can mention, just anecdotally, like just off the top of your head, that also have a certain access point to what you mentioned now.
Every application on your phone has got access to different devices. Go through, if you can, go through some of the privacy policies, Google them, work out what's happening on your phone. I think we need to be very conscious of how companies are using them going forward, and we can start determining that. We can start pushing companies to do things our way. And it's great because I saw a lot of people posting about Telegram and Signal. Those are better alternatives to WhatsApp. I think the best alternative right now is Signal from a privacy policy perspective. We're not quite sure where Telegram is going to go, even though they also claim that your messages are encrypted. Again, that's not the problem. If people can read your messages, that's one part of the problem. The other part is that they have access to different parts of your phone that you might not want a big corporation to have access to. So Signal is, I highly recommend Signal. Edward Snowden has endorsed it. It was actually developed by some of the people at WhatsApp originally who left. So if you are familiar with WhatsApp, it's a good one to use.
It's actually good that you gave us an alternative. I know that Telegram's been doing the rounds, and a lot of people have been, downloading, and a lot of kids as well. And they say if you are indeed a parent, that you should be turning that location setting off their phone if they are downloading Telegram. Just an idea. Grant, thanks so much for the clarity. I think it's so important for us to have this conversation, and I want to continue this conversation on social media, so let us know which app you'll be using in the future. Is it going to be a WhatsApp? Is it going to be Telegram? Or would it be the Grant endorsed Signal? You tell us on social media, #Expresso Show.
Here's to you. Can't work from home workers. Board Terminator. Cause every meeting key, I'll be back. The mask forgetting shoppers. And you who go the extra mile instead of keeping just 1.5 meters. To you who opened your doors again, we take our hats off. Nina who kept us moving 100%. And of course, there no Mayini general dealers. You might not be essential workers, Mara, you too played an essential role in keeping Mzansi working. And that's why we're giving you a chance to win your share of 5 million rand. Join Nedbank today.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, you're on SABC3, and I know it may be so strange coming from me, but hair has become the accessory to our day-to-day wardrobe, an opportunity to play around and spice up one's look. And today, Grant Hines will be spicing up his look. I'm excited about this. And dyeing his hair live on the show with the professional help of a hairstylist extraordinaire, Salome de Wet. And before we get coloring, I just wanted to chat to you very quickly, Salome, because you are the aficionado in this space. So when it comes to hair color, I know that you get certain colors that send a certain message. You get very trendy colors at the moment, but looking ahead at 2021, what are some of the color trends that you've been seeing so far?
So thank you so much for the question. First of all, the movement is called active equilibrium. So basically, in our busy lives that we're living in these tech worlds, and also in like we're escaping to like a retreat where you're completely cut off from technology. So it's basically finding a balance between these tech worlds and nature. So they're calling it, all these restorative colors, or I actually have a little pamphlet, but it's all these green frosts, mints, incognito green, but then also going into lilac aura and polyoluster. So there's metallics. It's like almost like technology meets nature.
Nice.
Like the combination of the two. So yeah, trending colors is like yellows, pinks, violets. Greens, pinks, like quite vivid and pastel.
You can show,
Sorry.
I want to see the book. There we go. There's the color.
So there's quite, you can see like some of them are like earthy. It's like kind of like grounded tones, like different shades of yellows, greens. Yeah.
Do you believe that somebody can pick the right color for themselves, or is it just a matter of just, you know what, throw something on my hair, let's see what happens?
So for me, I feel it needs to fit your lifestyle, because I feel like creative colors like that we're going to be doing with Grant's hair, like that's something you just wear. It's a fashion statement, you wear it. It's not going to suit anyone's skin tone, like particularly well. But I feel you choose a color to suit your lifestyle. Like high maintenance colors is something I'm sure you know as well. Like it's something that you have to keep up and constantly reinvent. Where if you're not someone that really wants to spend a lot of time in a hair salon, you should be going to maybe more of a balayage. So I think you should see what you'd be willing to invest into your hair first before actually choosing your color.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, somebody right next to you, Grant, I mean, I've seen your colors, and when Salome said about lifestyle, it's so true, because I mean, being a tech guru and in the gaming field as well, when I see your hair colors, immediately there's a pop of interest, and then I want to watch your video.
Oh, nice. I'm glad. I've been seeing Salome for like 7-8 years now. Yeah. And one of the reasons I started going to her was because she always was like future forward. It was always like, what is coming up? And I just had to trust blindly. So probably the color we're going to was one of my first colors, and it was so shocking at the time, 7-8 years ago. I walked out of the salon and it was like I had tattoos on my face. People were like, were stumbling over each other, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. It's one of the best ways to like change yourself up. And guess what? Your hair grows out. So if you're bored of it, it's not like a face tattoo which doesn't go away. If it grows out, just change up the color later. And with different trends that come up every year, you can then work with that in the following years.
And I think it's great as an accessory as well, because sometimes, let's just say if you've got that, I loved your lime green Lumo hair that you had one day. It was like
the blue, the aqua.
There were so many different colors. It probably was a yellow maybe, but it was really cool because it automatically, it kind of made everything pop. And suddenly, even the video that you had online at that time, suddenly there was that type of explosion of interest that came from me. And I think that in a lot of fields, when it comes to hair color, I mean, I don't understand why in the corporate field, we can't color our hair those crazy colors, because it'll make meetings so much more interesting.
I know, right?
Right. Can you imagine somebody with lime green hair telling you about the board meeting? That's what I'm saying, and I think that
they're authoritative.
I would definitely listen.
They're the ones who obviously are the bosses in the room.
Yes, it's going to normalize creativity as well, which is so important. I think that's the great thing about it. And when it comes to the requests that you've got in your time, have there been some color requests where you thought, why did I get myself into this right now? When somebody goes, I want a blue patch here and a green patch and then a red in the front. Like, how has it been for you? What's the craziest request that you've ever got?
Yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of those. I think a lot of times, because like when I do color, I try and like, there must always be a little bit of balance still.
Yes.
So I feel if it's a really hectic cut, like maybe let's just do one color, or if it's like, because it's normally like a rainbow hair with a side shaped off, and then there's lots of, there's the fringe as well, but the fringe needs to have like a little going down. So there's sometimes I think it's just a bit much on one head. But when I do competitions, it's actually about showing skills. So we do as much as we can on one head, basically. So you want to show cutting skills, coloring skills. So we've done some wild stuff. Yeah.
When you say doing some wild stuff, that brings me something. It brings something to my mind, and that is, Grant, you've got a clean palette at the moment.
Yes.
And I believe that it's important for us on live on Expresso is to provide you with a brand new color. And the great thing is, I'm not going to pick it, nor you, not you, Salome. I want you to pick the color, please. I've got some options for you. Do you think Grant should dye his hair yellow, pink, or green? Get into our socials, get onto Twitter, get onto to Facebook, hashtag Expresso Show, hashtag Grant's New Color, whatever you want to hashtag there, as long as you give us one of those options, and we will do that live for you in the next couple of minutes. The power of Grant's hair is in your hands.
I think you should go pink.
Got to be pink.
Yeah, I think
I've always loved the pink. Got to do it.
Oh, self-expression
for 2021.
I love it.
Right now, we're going to get classic. With Clover Classic, we're going to have a little bit of fun whipping up what looks like the most delicious tarts. We're going to do this in 2 stages.
Yes.
I don't know who's got the more difficult. I think I've got the easy part. Are you up for kind of dealing with the pastry?
Well, yeah. Well, yours is actually more the difficult part, putting it all together, all those ingredients coming to life.
Flavors.
Mine is really just assembling them and putting it in the oven.
What I love this, you can use up any vegetables that you've got. You can add a bit of chicken if you want a protein option there as well. But we are going to be creating a beautiful tomato and onion tart.
And this is
I'm going to get started with the ingredients here. I'm using our Clover Classic 40% fat spread with cream.
I love it.
Because we want
the whole thing behind all of this, Graham, and while you talk about that, is that the festive season may have left us with a shoestring budget. And I know for many of us this is true. But it doesn't mean that we can't still enjoy delicious meals. And that's why we're showing you this today. It's our Clover Classic tomato, onion, and cheese tart that gives that timeless taste of summer. And as you'll quickly see now, it'll be ready in a matter of minutes.
Literally minutes. Okay, we've gone with our beautiful red onions, which have a lovely sweet kind of flavor profile.
Yes.
Lots of garlic. Yeah. We want that flavor punch. A little bit of brown sugar, which we're going to caramelize in there. The sugar balances out the acidity of the tomatoes beautifully as well.
Beautiful.
So this tart's going to have kind of a sweetness to it. A little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt to taste. And we're going to just stir those through nicely.
I love that.
And we want this to kind of cook through, soften and caramelize. And then you're going to end up with a beautiful
that looks like that.
Kind of tart
I love the color.
Filling like that.
So what I'm going to do in the meantime while you're doing that is I'm going to cut out, Graham, a frame on our pastry here.
The work of art.
The work of art. I mean, really, this is the work that belongs in a gallery. Okay, so you just do a nice little frame. There we go.
Okay, so that the outer area is going to be like your beautiful crunchy crust.
Yeah, you'll see what it looks like in the end.
Okay. Cool.
Okay,
so when you're ready, you can take what I've finished here
and throw it on there.
Yours.
Okay, great. Okay, so we are, of course, making use of our Clover Classic, which, comes as part of a great range. It's the Clover Classic range that caters for every kind of consumer with Clover Classic spread. You get the mayo, you get the dairy snacks and the custard. It's so versatile, and you really can use so many of these products in just about any recipe and in many, many recipes as well. And if you want this one, go onto our website, expressoshow.com.
And you want that, it's all about the caramelization with the, so you see we've cooked it through beyond being kind of just translucent. We've really broken down the sugars in those onions. And I think that balance of flavor profiles with the pop of the cherry or vine tomatoes, going to be delicious.
Well, we've given it character as well, because this really just does look so, so nice, right? It looks so ready to chomp up right now. I love it.
I think you could even put like little dollops of creme fraiche on once it's done.
Okay, so what we've got on here is I've got the filling. I've got some cherry tomatoes, which I'm going to just throw on there and look at.
I would say, look, Woolies have got these beautiful multicolored tomato selections. So get creative with it if you want, you know.
Make it pretty.
Some green, some purple,
Make it pretty.
have a pop of color there.
Yeah.
And you can
Okay,
do
so
them
that's
whole. You
going.
don't have to chop them up. Do them whole so you get these little bursts of flavor.
And what's going to
over.
happen, obviously, is once you put this in the oven, they're going to sort of start wrinkling and shriveling up, and that just creates the final look effect that we're looking for.
Some of them will burst, but they're going to get... There's nothing better than a roasted tomato. If you're going to cook a tomato,
Roast it and tell them you heard it here first. I love it. Once again, if you do want to get impressive and you have been inspired, go on our website. It's www.expressoshow.com. We've got the recipe with all the ingredients you're going to need, but it's not a lot of ingredients.
Not at all, man.
Is this enough cheese?
I think so. Hey?
Or is there such a thing as enough cheese?
No,
in
man.
the cheese world?
Fill the borders. Fill
Ne?
your work of art
Yeah, I
right the
think
way
so
through
too.
to the end.
I
Things
think
we've got
so
it. We might as well use it. And then this, you're going to literally, it doesn't require a lot. You're going to pop it in the oven 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. You want your pastry to still be relatively blonde, you know, so don't overdo the pastry, but you want a nice crisp on it. And yeah, and then at the end of it, garnish with a bit of fresh basil or some kind of fresh herb that's going to give it that, just to add a bit of freshness to it.
It's going to make it pop.
And that's it, man. Und voila. So that goes in the oven, 180 for 15 to 20 minutes, and you are on your way to a beautiful, I think this is a lovely summer treat.
It looks beautiful.
Hey?
It looks
Magic.
beautiful, and it's guilt-free in its own way.
Relatively, yeah,
to be
man.
honest, in its own way, you are having all of those vegetables, and that makes you feel great about any decision you make when it comes to food. That's what it looks like when it's all done. Look at that final
this
final
is
product.
looking absolutely perfect.
Whoa.
So there you have it. If you want this recipe, you can find it on expressoshow.com.
Happy
Such
eating.
a tart. You're a tart.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. Your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on ABC3. All of the feel-good coming through on your TV. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Graham, you has been so busy. He has been so busy. Graham, you have been so busy. What are you doing there?
Dude, I've been thinking a little bit about all of the recycled materials that are given a second life by turning them into something else. Like, obviously, this pen here. Did you know that it's made from recycled Nespresso capsules? And they partnered with iconic Swiss stationery manufacturer Dash to make it, and it's quite an amazing process. Take a look at this. Did you know that every Nespresso capsule can be recycled to give it a second life? The aluminium used in the capsules is infinitely recyclable and can be used to create an incredible variety of products. One such product is the classic 849 ballpoint pen by renowned Swiss stationery manufacturer Dash. Each pen is made from aluminium of recycled used capsules that meet the quality and craftsmanship standards the brand is known for. Now in its third edition, the 849 ballpoint pen is a shining example of how Nespresso gives their capsules a second life and a testament to their commitment towards a sustainable future.
Okay, that's impressive. That entire story is so impressive.
And it's a beautiful and it's a very valuable pen. I'm going to write unprecedented.
I think there's something unprecedented about this process that Nespresso has embarked on. Of course, for you at home, remember that you do stand the chance to win an incredible Nespresso bundle. It consists of the Pixie Machine bundle and 10 sleeves of coffee. I mean, that's a lot of good coffee there. Origins mugs, as well as an apron, special edition, current Diash pan. Oh, it's worth a lot. That pen is worth more than 5,600 Rand.
Simply reply on the competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter page and tell us, what are you doing differently to live more sustainably this year? We all have to make that choice right now. But you've got to remember to include the hashtag Nespresso Expresso, and that competition is going to close at noon on Thursday, the 28th of January. So go and enter now. You can find all the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Good luck.
We're signing checks this year, eh?
We chose some of the world's rarest local coffee crafts and refined them to create 5 distinct new tastes. After all, we are the choices we make.
Here we go. You've had your opportunity to do the selection of which color Grant should use in his hair today. Salome, who is our hairstylist, is standing by, and you've actually given us quite a bit of comments with regard to what you think of Grant's hair. I think your hair's beautiful as it is, but we'll go for some of the comments anyway. Now, first and foremost, I want to go to Stanley September. Stanley says you should go pink for cancer awareness. Then you got PJ, who says yellow, closest to normal. And then Shireen, and I want you to listen to this, Grant, because I believe every word that Shireen says about this. Green to go with his super awesome personality. Love it when Grant shares his knowledge of tech with the viewers. He is amazing. Don't forget it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
However, the results are in. And the color you have selected for Grant's hair today on Expresso here on SABC3 in South Africa, the bottom of Africa, on the world, in the Milky Way is pink. It's pink. It's pink. That's what it is. Pink has been the one. It's been voted on Twitter now, and now we get to applying. So, Salome, we want to do this process together, please. I actually have a brush that I brought along with me because I also want to get in on this, which is quite important. Now, let's go.
I want to see you do the first stroke.
Okay. Oh, yes. Can I?
Yes, please do. You have the honors.
Thange you very much. So where would you like me to apply?
On my hair.
Oh, that's a good that's a good one. Yes. All right, so we're going to go with the first one over here.
This is a bad idea.
No, you're good to go here, brother. You're good to go.
So let me please fix whatever he's doing.
No, this is perfect.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much. You have to be delicate and you have to be, and just to get the process, I think it's quite nice to learn while we are doing this, Salome, is that when it comes to, Grant had some prep work that he had to do prior to this, and I think it's quite an important piece of prep work, and that's stripping your hair. So are there hacks or safe ways of actually doing this?
Yes, actually Grant has quite a sensitive scalp. So the thing is, I feel always, there's always a right way of pre-lightening your hair. So I always use scalp tonics to numb out the scalp prior to a pre-lighting service, but also using lower peroxides, because we're going to creative colors. We don't need to have a silver icy base.
All right.
But yeah, there's also, and then obviously good products. Good products is always the right way to go about creative colors. Like I feel it's the better the integrity of the hair, the better the color's going to look at the end of the day. So always good products is a necessity.
And the process of actually applying the color and doing the strip down, etc., does it differ from men and women? Is the process that you use a little different?
No, actually, it's exactly the same. I mean, hair is hair at the end of the day.
True.
I just think I find with my male clientele as opposed to my female clientele, they are more adventurous and they jump in between colors faster, because you can actually just shave off your hair and start over. Or, you know, like the thing is, it comes with integrity. If you jump in between color the whole time, the integrity of the hair takes a bit of a beating. So with shorter hairstyles, it's actually just easier to change your mind all the time.
Yeah, I want to add something about, like, I know a lot of people at home are probably watching this thinking, wow, this is great. Like, this is a nice lockdown project maybe to do at home. Just be really careful with some of the products like peroxide, because if you leave it on too long, it can cause a lot of damage to the skin. And obviously I have sensitive skin, and that's why I go to a salon like Salome's, because she knows my scalp. I don't know the chemicals like she does, so I'd rather trust her. But if you have to do it at home and you are doing it at home, do a lot of research. YouTube's your friend.
When it comes to research, I actually want to do a little research project with you, Salome, and that is related to what are your pet hates with regard to clients on your chair? Because I know that some hairstylists, there's a couple of things that we do as clients that you don't like. So give us a list, or maybe one or two things that we should think about as your customers in the future when we sit in your chair.
Look, one of the first things, and I don't know where it came from, is people think we hate it when they bring in pictures. Because people are always, when they come in your chair, they're like, oh, I know you hate it when you bring in pictures. But I'm like, I love it, actually, because it gives me a very good understanding of what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So I always recommend, like, bring a nice Pinterest board, or, you know, some screenshots of something you like. I guess I hate it when clients are late, and that's like a very Cape Townian thing.
Yes, welcome to Cape Town.
It's so irritating, because it pushes you into a little box, because you know you need to have an hour and a half for the service, and you book it off like that, so that's quite a difficult thing. I guess talking on the phone while you're busy with the hair is so annoying. And
Noted.
Noted. But not being on your phone. I mean, sometimes I love it when they be distracted and I don't have to communicate too much. But I think just being on the phone is quite a...
Okay. And I'm sure you get those awkward conversations as well, no doubt, when somebody starts talking about their husband and then also their boyfriend, which might get a bit awkward when it comes to your chair. However, I think what you do is great. It's a great craft. And you know what? This is going to look absolutely incredible. And as you can see, the process will continue. There has to be a final result. And I want to thank you so much for picking pink, because it's the one I would have chosen for Grant anyway. But a little later, at the end of the show, you get the final result. Salome's excellence, Grant's head, a match made in pink heaven. That's coming to you a little later.
you beautiful people. Yes, welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Now, welcome back to another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing. Oh, yes, oh, yes. Well, we still can't believe that we are officially in 2021. Yes, goodbye 2020. And we're joined by one of our favorite foodies, Chef Clem, to help you and I out. He's going to be answering any of our culinary conundrums. And I know it can be quite tricky in the kitchen. Sometimes you need a bit of help. So do you have any questions for Chef Clem on all things in the kitchen? Well, give us a call right now. The number's 021 110 5552. Okay, so, they didn't waste time. They're calling. Hang on, Clem. C. Pedro and Associates Culinary Experts. How may I help you?
I like it.
Good morning.
Hi there. Good morning. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
This is Nicole. James from Durban. I have a culinary question for Clem.
Okay, Jane in Durban. What's your question for Clem?
So I have a lot of bread in my freezer. I hate throwing bread away, and I feel like it's such a waste. But I don't know what to do with all of it. So I wanted to know if you could give me a few tips and ideas for what I can do with my bread.
Very good question. Jane, thank you very much. Please listen on the television. Chef Clem, culinary expert. What's your answer?
So, at the beginning of lockdown,
let's put this away.
We were all baking. Sourdough bread, normal yeast bread. But then we had leftover bread, and what happened to it? It probably went off, right?
Yeah, and if you live in Durban and it's so hot and humid there, it will go off in an hour after you've baked.
You're right.
Okay, maybe not an hour, but you know what I mean.
You're right. So, what I love doing is creating breadcrumbs out of bread that's like either a day old or 2 days old.
Okay.
The bread that is nice and stale and hard, that you chew. That's the bread that you want for breadcrumbs.
Okay.
So, it's a very, very simple recipe. You take it like, ciabatta is a good example because it's got so much flavor.
Yes.
And the thing is about ciabatta is like a day and a half later, it is like...
hard. Well, if you struck someone with it, I mean, you would literally face life sentence.
I think it says somewhere in the Bible that like, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Don't
thing.
do that.
No, you don't.
Okay, so what I did was I tore it into chunks.
Okay.
And I like tearing bread for breadcrumbs because if you slice it, you get very uniform crumbs or very uniform shape, and I don't like doing that. So I just tore the bread.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, if the bread is still a bit like moist and still has a bit of like softness to it, you can toast it in the oven. At like 120, just for about 20 minutes until you dry the bread out.
So you're actually trying to dry it, to get it as dry as possible.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You don't necessarily have to get it brown. I mean, if you get it a little brown, that's nice because you get a little extra flavor, but we're all going to toast it just now again.
Okay.
This is what you're looking for. Not a lot of color, but it is, again, like...
I love it.
Nice and
hard. Jane, breadcrumbs.
Jane.
Breadcrumbs.
Jane almost changed her name. She was like, my name is... no, my name is Jane.
You know, sometimes people are a little bit shy about their kitchen conundrums, and sometimes it's easy to just use like a fake name.
Use a fake name.
So that people don't know you.
Be creative. Don't say anonymous is calling.
Yeah.
This is the opportunity to make up your new name.
Hi,
Who would you be? Who would you be?
Hi, my name is Tabiso.
I like it. Okay.
We've got another question. This one came through on Facebook. In fact, let's take a look at this question. It came through from Debbie Mitchells, who says, please help Clem. Oh, man, the desperation. I love it. I can't make fricadelles. My 25-year-old daughter doesn't want, or rather doesn't always have time to make for me. Oh, man. Okay, we are intervening. Chef Clem.
I'm going to help you out here, but like, I'm going to meet you halfway.
Okay.
Because I've got these breadcrumbs, I think it'd be a really good idea to make meatballs. Fricadelles, the only thing I would change then is I would add some coriander, maybe add some garam masala to it, just mix it up a little bit. I like a spicier fricadelle. Yeah. So this is going to be like a traditional meatball style, but you can just totally make it your own. Is that okay?
Debbie, this sounds fantastic. And please, if you are going to try what Clem is saying, please do send it to us on Facebook, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. I'm very keen to know the different variations that people are able to play with when making fricadelles, because really what you're saying is you can make it your own and add a bit of a twist as well. And yes, if your daughter doesn't have the time, Debbie, to make for you sometimes, sometimes it gets busy.
We can help you out.
Maybe surprise her and make her your own twist, courtesy of Chef Clem's advice. This is very, very nice. I love that. Okay, so what are you doing with the breadcrumbs?
Very quickly, let me just show you how to take your breadcrumbs. So what we did, we took this, we blitzed it up, we got those breadcrumbs, let's put it in the pan now, a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of garlic. This is how you take your normal breadcrumbs and you step it up and you make them extra flavorful. So what we're doing is we're cooking our garlic and we're toasting our breadcrumbs. So it's going to absorb all the flavor of the garlic and the olive oil. You could add butter to the pan as well. Okay. You know, butter and bread. I mean...
a match made in all of life.
All of life?
Yeah.
So what you're doing now is you want to toast your breadcrumbs. And the good way to tell that it's toasted is that when you smell it. Use all your senses when you're busy cooking. So
the nice thing is if you're adding that garlic, already you've got such a really wholesome smell coming through. But when you smell that nicely toasted, matched with the garlic, ooh, you know it's ready to eat.
So good. So one thing for me is, we know a pasta dish, we normally finish them with Parmesan, right?
Yes.
But if you've been enjoying the festive season a little too much, maybe you don't have money for a wedge of Parmesan. This is an amazing alternative to Parmesan on the top of your pasta. You make a pasta dish, you sprinkle this on the top, you're going to be so happy.
I love that.
I'm happy with this. Things are smelling really good now. My garlic's cooked, my bread's nice and toasted. Now I'm going to use this to make some meatballs.
Wow.
And I also like using breadcrumbs for fricadelles, and it does two things. Number one, it bulks up your mince.
So 500 they're bigger.
Yeah, 500 grams of mince now it becomes like so much more, and you're feeding more people.
Absolutely. And you can, because people are going to ask for seconds, and that's a fact. We know that people are going to ask for seconds, so now you can actually offer them that without feeling like, oh, you're finishing everything. If you've got any questions for Chef Clem, please, I love this segment. I love that we're able to do this for people. It's so inspiring, and especially at the start of a brand new year where you really just want to do things differently. Everyone's excited about the renewed energy of anything, even in the kitchen.
Because our kitchen's very real, right? I'm going to call someone offset. It's okay, pretend it happened. Kelly, can I please get some salt? Kelly's running. Kelly's sprinting. Boom! She's gone. She's like, Usain Bolt. Who? Wow, she's gone. Okay. So what I've got is I've got my mince. I do that. I've got some onions and I caramelize them. That's going to add flavor and it's going to keep it nice and moist.
Okay.
Then a little bit of chili flakes just to make it nice and delicious.
You and I get along so well, especially when it comes to chili.
Okay.
Yeah, like we love chili.
I love chili. And it's not just the heat that it brings through, it also brings through flavor, you taste more. True fact. Today we know it's going to be super, super, super hot, right?
Yeah.
Eat chili. It cools your body down. You would think the other way round.
Yeah, but I mean, please, you have to think about it a little bit more than, you know, what Clem is saying. You don't just go and take a chili and you throw it in your mouth. No. Not like that, because then it's not going to cool you down.
Then it's not going to cool you down. Okay, so a little bit of milk.
Yeah.
This is optional. I just find I could give you a nice texture meatball. A little bit of milk into our toasted breadcrumbs. Oh, by the way, before we added the milk, if you take those breadcrumbs and put them in the jar, they will live in the fridge for months.
Well, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is really, really beautiful. Nicole Jane in Durban.
Nicole Jane?
All the answers are flowing through. I love it.
Okay, so, but just smell that, though. It smells so good. So this is going to go into our mince mixture. And again, like I said, it's an add flavor, add texture. It's going to be a softer meatball because we added that breadcrumb in there.
There is so much moistness that's taking place there. And it's going to keep it. I love that.
So make sure, the one thing people do when they cook with any mince, they don't add enough salt. There's a lot of meat in there. And we always say with a steak, you season well. All that mince is just ground up steak.
And you know what the challenge is with meatballs, is that unlike if you were having like a piece of chicken or like a steak where it's easy to sort of salt if it wasn't salted properly, meatballs are a bit tricky because now
when it's done, it's done.
It's, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's a good tip.
So then let me make it a little smaller. When you make it a little smaller, it's going to cook quicker. Just remember that.
Cool.
So if you're making like tennis ball size meatballs, don't be surprised
when they come out looking like
like raw, crispy on the outside, raw on the inside. You're going to have a combination of dry and wet at the same time.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Well, listen, they're going to go in there, and of course, that's the whole magic that's coming through there. The end product would look like this.
What I do is, because I'm saving time now, it's January, I get the Willie's pasta sauce. That's so delicious. Once my meatballs are nice and brown, I pour the sauce over, cook some pasta. I always serve my spaghetti and sauce over my pasta, and that's it.
My appetite is buzzing. And listen, Chef Clem is here to answer all of your questions. So if you do have any culinary conundrums, any challenges in the kitchen for Chef Clem to sort of respond to come and intervene, give us a call. This phone is here on standby for us to answer. The number is 021 110 5552. See after this, so nice, man.
Are you ready for a sizzling summer holiday in Mzansi? Your best holiday is yet to come when you book at any participating Marriott-branded hotel. Redefine your holiday with a beach break, nature retreat, or a road trip adventure. With the Marriott Summer Holiday offer, you can enjoy 25% off standard hotel rates, including free breakfast if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member and 15% if you're a non-Bonvoy member. Book on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
and that tasted so good, what we made earlier. Well, welcome back. You're just in time for more kitchen inspiration. It's our culinary hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing. Oh, yes. And we're joined by Chef Clem to help you out with any of the culinary conundrums that 2020/2021 might have thrown at you. And if you have any questions for him, he loves to help out. He loves to answer those questions. Give us a call. The number is 021-110-552. We've got a question, Chef Clem, which I love. I love this question, especially having just come back from home. Martha DeLange on Facebook says, Chef Clement, can you please focus on penny pincher or otherwise known as low-budget recipes for a larger family this year? It'll be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Is that a real name?
Yeah.
She could be a character in Seven Delight.
She could easily
I like your name.
Yeah.
Talking about people's names in Seven Delight today. Okay.
I love that. So, big families, you have to think about so much more when you are preparing meals for big families.
Absolutely.
Low budget, cost effective, but still great meals. What are some of those ideas?
And moms are magicians like that.
Yo,
they're able to take a little bit of something and then feed a nation.
Yep.
So I've been paying attention to like my mom's cooking and the way that like other moms have been cooking. And it's very interesting. So what they do is they take a protein and then they just, number one, cook it properly. Can I just talk about the meatballs, for instance?
Yeah, sure.
We spoke about meatballs and seasoning it like a steak. When you cook mince, right? The most important thing is treat it like a steak. When you do that, you get so much flavor out of it. Because we didn't mess with it, we got a beautiful brown color and crust on it. That's flavor.
Okay.
So we're maximizing the ingredient number one.
Great.
And that comes with knowledge about knowing how to cook with it. You're doing justice to the ingredient and you're going to get the maximum flavor out of it.
That's a big tip. I love that. Maximize on the ingredient. Yes.
Okay. So another thing that I did that I've learned. Use different elements to bulk up flavor.
Okay.
Like potato.
All right.
All right.
Oh, because it's volume.
Volume.
Yeah.
Then chickpeas. We got dry chickpeas here, but you could use tin chickpeas. Tin chickpeas, lifesaver.
Chickpeas are so underrated, but they are such goodness.
So
and there's so much you can do. There's so
inexpensive.
Much. Yes.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Good flavor. Good for you.
Ah, Imani.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I love that. So what I do with that is when I make, again, I'm going to just use curry because I'm obsessed with curries, been, and I still am. When I make a curry, I always add chickpeas to it.
Okay.
So if you don't have a lot of meat going on in your curries, it's fine because you still got the element of protein, the element of texture coming through from your chickpeas. And that works well again in stews, in soups, and then again lentils. Same thing. Protein coming through from there. And you're maximizing again in a very big way, getting so much flavor using lentils.
Do you know what works for me? And I find that when I was home now in December, I was able to do so much with. Not because I was lazy or I am lazy in the kitchen, couscous. Again, because when you just put it just feeds the nation.
I think, and also another thing about couscous, and again that goes again with like the different grains, pulses. Couscous obviously is not a grain of pulse, it's actually made. You pour boiling water over, you add salt, you add a little bit of dry herbs if you want, done. No,
but also it just like goes.
Volumizes. Yeah. And people love it. And if you want to add texture to the add some chopped up nuts in there, some seeds in there. And it just takes it to a whole nother level. It's like rice. Isn't it rice you have to cook? Couscous, you don't have to.
Put some water in there. Okay, so January, obviously, is the month. It's the season of today. It never has been tighter on the budget as it has been this year, especially while the world is going through a pandemic. So many people are having to deal with cut salaries, and we're all feeling the pinch, honestly, everyone. And we love making meals that truly are affordable, that can help feed the whole family. And Clem, you always do have tips around those kind of things. How do families, small or big, manage to stretch the budget, especially when it comes to budget for the kitchen ingredients? So not so much for preparing the meals, because you've told us that, but like ingredients that you must have, those must-haves.
Tinned foods.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what people think that it's not high quality. It is. Sometimes a tin version of something is really like the better option than going fresh on budget and on flavor sometimes. Shelf life.
They can sit there.
I'm obsessed with tinned fish. I just love tinned fish. I love the flavor of it. And the fact that, again, if you are hitting the gym, new year, new me, tinned fish is a great source of protein and flavor. So but what do you do with that now, just besides eating it straight out of the can? Because I know those guys at gym, they will let you pop the can right there.
The tuna can is always, exactly,
This is a good one, and this is another classic one that I've had from my grandmother, and she, like, and my mother, and just like other people, they've all had it.
Moms.
Tinned fish fricadelles.
Wow.
Okay?
Because you can buy a lot of the tin fish and store it, right? And so you
Yes.
can make different things over time. but
Different
the
things,
fricadelles
absolutely.
is one.
So we made a tuna little spring roll earlier. Tuna, like a tuna.
Ooh, telefono, it's ringing.
Oh, is it? Okay. While we're on the phone, I'm gonna get going on this.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, I answer. See, Pedro and Associates Food Styling and expertise. How can I help you? Hello, Jerry.
Good morning.
Hello there. I just saw there on my caller ID. Is this Jerry speaking?
It's Jerry speaking
I
here.
love it. Jerry, where are you calling from?
I'm phoning from Grassy Park.
Fabulous. What is your question, please?
I would just like to know, we didn't throw eggs in his fricadelles.
I got you. So, on that question about adding eggs, because I added milk to my breadcrumbs, that's going to replace the egg. So I'm trying to work out and being like budget friendly with the fricadelles in the sense that eggs are really great source of protein. I'd rather use the eggs just for today as like a meal thing on its own. Like a fried egg on toast is just amazing. So instead of you using that egg for the fricadelles, which is already another meal, a little bit of milk with your breadcrumbs. But I do know that eggs, like our breadcrumbs do, they add texture and help bind it as well. So you can totally use eggs in your fricadelles.
That's beautiful. Jerry, are you satisfied? I can almost feel her going, oh, yes, you have saved the day. Okay, so Chef Clem, let's carry on with that one and just sort of speed through it because it's easy to make very quickly too.
Okay, very quickly. So it is, I took pilchards and I took it in the spicy tomato sauce because that's the one. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then I added some of those toasted breadcrumbs to it.
Looks like this.
There we go. It's going to add texture and it's going to bind it as well.
Can I grab one?
I mean, I'm still going to fry it up.
After you've done that. Okay, great. Well, then you're going to fry it up. But listen, I'm more excited as well after eating to go find out about Grant's hair. Grant, how's it going, brother?
Take a gander at that.
Yo!
Take a gander
Look at this.
that. I want to call it an anime pink. Hey, there's something there's something cartoon about it. Animated. It's really cool, man.
Well done, Salome. That was really, and that was probably the fastest hair coloring I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's probably one of the fastest ones I've done as well.
Well, and we needed that, man. Thank you so much. Great to have you back here again. We absolutely adore all of you. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow morning. Take a look. Look at that. Look at that.
Really good. Hey?
Ta-da!
Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.